Ain't no capping in my logic, this that real talk vibe. From the south where the grind don't die, we survive. Mind sharp, money right. Truth be the topic. Welcome to the game. This unfiltered logic. Ain't no sugarcoating here, just truth in the topic. Speak facts, not feelings, that's unfiltered logic. Pain made the hustle made profit. I learned from the struggle, now I profit off logic.
America's a big place, plenty of room to breathe. Clocking in early, I just wanna eat. Got kids at the table, bills on repeat. I don't need a sermon, I need groceries. News yelling more, Twitter yelling sent. Everybody talking, nobody clocking in. I ain't trying to say the world with a sign and a tweet. I'm trying to keep lights on, gas in the Jeep. Don't need your labels, don't need your fight. I love this country, I love my life. Keep it think pieces out my face tonight. I'm busy building, I'm busy right. America's beautiful, now stay the fuck out my way. I just wanna feed my kids, see a brighter day. I don't need your liberal bullshit in my brain. I want peace, a paycheck, and a little bit of rain. Yeah, America's beautiful, leave me alone. Let me work, let me live, let me make it home. They argue in circles, I'm stuck in a line. Prices go up, but the talk stay high. Minded every problem solved with a hashtag parade. Still can't tell me why rent double this way. I ain't scared of opinions, I'm tired of noise. I ain't your enemy, I'm employed. I don't wanna clap, chant, kneel, or comply. I wanna grill on Sunday and sleep at night. I mind my business, I pay my dues. I teach my kids how to pick and choose. Freedom means I don't gotta agree with you. Respect means you don't gotta preach me too. America's beautiful, now stay the fuck out my way. I don't wanna feed my kids, see a brighter day. I don't need your liberal bullshit in my brain. I want peace, a paycheck, and a little bit of rain. Yeah, America's beautiful, leave me alone. Let me work, let me live, let me make it home. I don't need a savior, I need a shot at a fair damn chance, that's all I got. Keep the lectures, keep the shame, I keep the hammer, I keep the flame. Built by hands, not a comment section. Life ain't solved by online correction. America's beautiful, now stay the fuck out of my way. I don't wanna feed my kids, see a brighter day.
All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Unfiltered Logic. If you're tired of the mainstream media treating you like you lack basic critical thinking skills, you're in the right room. If you guys are new to the chat, go ahead, drop a 1 in the chat. If you've been here before, let me get a 2 in the chat. Y'all go ahead, like, share for the algorithm. And yo, what's up, y'all?
Not much.
Hey, what's up?
Ready to get
See you back off the camera, Whitney. Hey, everybody, drop your if you can go on Facebook and comment your name, I'll pin it so that y'all can be tagged on there. Everybody can see y'all. So y'all, we got that trial, Carmelo Anthony case. And you know, I got a lot of my fans with this, or I guess followers, fans, whatever you want to say, that were actually very familiar with how I normally talk about situations, especially being a former correction officer. A lot of people expect me to take one narrative. And then when I went against the grain, I noticed everybody was so shocked. It was actually very funny to see how much people are so on one side or the other on this situation, when in reality it's very black and white. Like it's very both sides make a good point. Like you can understand a little bit of both sides. Obviously, nobody should die. Nobody should have got stabbed. Nothing like that. But you could see where both parties were wrong, and I think it's crazy that everybody's either on one side or they're on the other. Nobody realizes that it's two teenage kids. That there's something to learn on each side. You know, whether you're looking at the Carmelo Anthony side, you shouldn't have weapons at school. Period. You shouldn't have weapons at school. You shouldn't have, conflicts with somebody and then think that you need to draw a weapon at school. That's insane. But at the
Yeah.
same time, you shouldn't put your hands on people. And I'm just gonna say it. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but you shouldn't put your hands on people. Um, I don't think that either party was right, but hey, what do you guys think? Who do you think? Do you think that the verdict was a little too high, or do you think that it was about right? Do you think that he should have got charged with manslaughter? Let me know in the comments. And what do you guys think? Uh, Dez and Harley.
Uh, I honestly thought he was going to get manslaughter because, like in all the statements that I read, like at the beginning, like even the police statement, yeah, he admitted to it, though he ran or jogged, what do they say, lightly ran, whatever. He did admit to it. He asked about the well-being. Um, he felt like he would survive. So that lets me know, and that tells me in my mind that this definitely was a snap reaction, and he didn't process the full consequence of the reaction. So it
Okay.
wasn't like he went in with the intent to necessarily commit the action, but in the moment, that was his go-to commit the action. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. But I don't think people want to hear stuff like that. I feel like people are too polarized by the situation. They
Yeah.
want it to be a little bit more than what it is. And with them bringing race and everything into it, there's Whitney. With them bringing race and everything into it, I mean, my bad. There's Harley. Um, they make it so complicated, so difficult for everything to just be a flat out what's the facts, because they're bringing up all these different, oh, it's because he's black, it's because he's white. Well, the white kid shouldn't have did this, the black kid shouldn't have did that, and I've even mentioned it. You know, they make it so colorful that there is no more black and white. But I know Harley, you got a lot to say about it.
I
Let me
do
hear
have
what
a
you got
lot
to
to say
say.
about it
Should
because
I should I get into the comments first? Because I know you're gonna be a little extensive on this one.
no, I was just gonna say something a little bit like in response to what Des was saying. Like I understand that the intent may not have been there as far as actually eliminate. I don't know what words can we say
Say whatever you want to say.
free words on here because some of some censored. So to kill someone, you don't have to have the intention to kill someone and it be murder. The justice system kind of isn't as black and white as that. So it's like you can understand like the logic of the situation and understand why, but like that's just not how courts, that's just not
Yeah,
how like things like that are determined. So like we can sit here and have like regular everyday discussions about did he mean to and what he thought would happen, but it's like that's like you can't do something and intentionally do an act that causes a result and then say, well, I didn't think he was going to die, because if that was the case nobody would get charged with murder. Nobody would get a murder charge because everyone would be like, well, yeah, I shot him or I stabbed him, but I didn't think he was going to die. Well, I'm sure everyone says that after they do something in the heat of the moment, but that's why circumstances matter so much, because it's like if you
yeah,
walk in your house and your spouse is with somebody in your home that you built with them and you react in the heat of that moment, when you look at all those circumstances in the court can justify the response based on what's happening, but the court system cannot justify in this scenario like you got pushed, no one was jumping you, no, like none of that was happening, but you responded with a fatal reaction. So that's the biggest thing. It's like there's lines on everything. There's it's like there's lines with everything, but you have to look at the whole picture. You can't just say, oh, well, he was mad, he reacted. Well, he was mad, he reacted, but was his reaction, warranted?
You
No.
know,
to
as
that
as
level.
a correctional officer, as a former correctional officer, this is where I'm gonna start being real, right? Because I've been playing with everybody all week, acting like I feel one way or another, but in reality, there's a multiple. This is multi-layered, and why this was not self-defense. There is so many different reasons. If you look at the witness statements, if you look at everything, yes, the kid touched him first. Austin did touch him first. That is true, but everything leading up to it. I get the 15 times, and even for me being a kid, whenever I was, Austin Metcalf's age or Carmelo Anthony's age, I probably wouldn't have got up if another kid told me to either. But if I was in
Yeah.
another person's tent and it's raining, I might have had a little bit more to say than "don't fucking touch me." Like I might have had a little bit more to say than that. Like, hey, bro, it's raining. I'm gonna just chill here for a minute. You could have de-escalated there. You didn't choose to de-escalate there. You didn't choose to de-escalate, but you also didn't choose to walk away. So that's the first time, the first opportunity you had an opportunity to get away from it. Secondly, whenever they told you 15 more times, you have all these opportunities. You know tensions are rising. You know that multiple kids are coming around you telling you different things. Whether it was Austin Metcalf coming and implying his, I guess you could say, force or will on Carmelo, telling him, hey, he has to go. At the end of the day, he's not really supposed to be in that area. He shouldn't have had a weapon. You could say, oh, it's 2.5 inches all fucking day. Nobody cares. If you go to any high school, any middle school, any elementary school in the state of Texas, it's going to have a sign up and it's going to say no weapons allowed. And then people will say, oh, well, that doesn't mean that it's the law. That's the school policy. Well, the thing about it is, whenever you're talking about the state law says anywhere where they put no weapons, you can't have fucking weapons. It's against the
It's
law if you have a weapon. You're unlawfully carrying. So at any point in time where you have any type of weapon, whether it's a fucking piece of scissors broken in half and you're using it as a weapon, it doesn't matter. You can't have a weapon there. And that's another thing. Then you come to look at, okay, well, in the witness statement, well, not even in the witness statement, on the cameras, they seen, he wasn't going, like he didn't go. There was a lot of rumors that he went to go get a coach or he went to go get a supervisor or a teacher. Carmelo Anthony never went to go get those people. He was walking towards the exit or the entrance of the stadium, and that's when the police apprehended him. 20 minutes later after the stabbing, when a coach had already came by and talked to him and said, hey, what the hell did you do?
And can I say
Like,
something though?
go ahead.
About all of that, I also feel like, and it's not fair to put everybody in a box. It really isn't. But we all can sit here and be real with ourselves. How many times do we get in a public place? Do you see that angry black person that's like, "You're not gonna tell me what to do? How dare somebody, test me?" And I really feel like that the mentality and that type of mindset just continues to perpetuate, and we end up in these same circles. It circles back every time. And I think that's what we need to be talking about. We really need to be talking about how can we change mindsets to prevent this type of stuff from happening. And another big thing is the accountability. Like everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah,
accountability. Yes, it's wrong to push somebody, but there's also, like I said, different levels, right? So
yeah,
pushing someone is a crime, but an assault by contact is not the same as assault with deadly weapon or you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
we have to like be for real when we're talking about this. Like, yeah, people are saying like, oh yeah, I wish somebody would put their hands on me and blah blah blah. Like I've been several situations. I'll share one. I had this crazy landlord. She's elderly, almost 80 years old, and she thought that she was gonna come up to my door and push me and get into it with me. And I could have just, you know,
You
hit
beat that
her.
old lady up.
I could have hit her. But I was like, okay, this is an old lady. She's emotional. I'm not going to hit this woman like because she's putting her hands on me, like she's pushing me. I can de-escalate the situation. So I filed a report. She got a ticket. Of course, assault by contact is only like a speeding ticket. So it wasn't like she had to pay a fine like you pay. You know what I mean? But either way,
Yeah,
I could have ended up hitting her. She could have fell on the stairs. She could have passed away. Like anything
Yeah,
could have happened if I would have been reactive. So
yeah,
people,
yeah.
we have to stop being like so reactive and think about what choices we're making before we just react. And I know that's easier said than done, because when you're upset and you're in the heat of the moment, like, people do things, we're human. But when you have a mentality that every day you're waking up listening to shoot 'em up this and shoot 'em up that,
That
and
was
you're
the point I
doing
was about
that,
to get
like,
to.
your
It doesn't promote
your
stopping.
mind is already wired to be hostile.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
and that's
like,
that's exactly what I was. You're on the same. You're reading my mind right now because when you were talking about what can we do to change these habits, the only thing that we could do is we could change these day to day habits. All like the
Right.
movies that we watch. Why does everything have to be violence? It has to be power. It has to be snowfall. It has to be um what's it, Chicago or
yeah,
some
He,
shit? I don't fucking know. All the different shows, all the different rappers. The top rapper is fucking NBA YoungBoy. Like what are we doing
to
right now?
your
What
point on
why is
that,
that the
I
number
asked
one?
people, I said
Go
we
ahead.
need shows like Family Matters to come back.
Yeah.
Shows like, hate to say it, The Cosby Show, Fresh Prince of
Yeah,
Bel
yeah,
Air.
yeah.
They're like, those shows are corny. Nobody want to
even
watch that
even
no more.
even like George
Right,
Lopez and stuff like that, where it was about a family taking care of going
right.
to work, doing what they're supposed to do, coming home, loving their family, being there for the family. Now it's just about gang culture. Everything is about fucking gang culture. And then when
and
you call it out, it's like, oh well,
you're a
yeah, it's
coon,
black
you're a
culture. Yeah,
this, you're
exactly. You're a coon. You're a
yeah.
coon. You're Uncle Tom. You're all these different things, and it's like I never did anything but call out the bad behavior that you guys have been having for years. And if you
Mhm.
guys don't like that, you guys have the bad behavior, change it. Oh well, this system. Will. At some point, you have to be like, you know what? I'm in my 20s, or even younger than 20s. When I turned 18, I started working at the prison, and I say, you know what? Whatever type of bullshit I was getting into as a kid, that shit not cool no more. It's time for me to be a grown ass man and take care of my real responsibilities. I got shit that I got to do, and I have a life to live. And then I started working at the prison. I said, this ain't no place for no man. You being up in here, you think that this shit cool. You think that you getting brownie points out in the world. You got clout. Oh, I did this, I did that. Then you get locked up. You doing like this. You sitting in a concrete building everywhere, concrete steel. Ain't nothing soft in this motherfucker. Ain't nothing
Boy,
sweet in this motherfucker. Like ain't ain't no what you ain't getting no woman unless maybe you trick a guard into it. And even then, they
that's one
don't.
of
They
my
ain't
major
pretty.
motivators in
They ain't
not getting
pretty.
into
You know.
major motivator in not getting into trouble for me as a guy is, man, when you go to prison, there's no women. Like,
What?
I
Hey,
don't,
look. You know what it is a whole lot of though?
I don't
Transformers.
say, I know.
Transformers. That's what they all go to. That should be crazy. You'd be the most gangster nigga in the pod. Be over here transforming. I be, oh no. Optimus Prime? What the fuck? Like, man, but I mean, just getting back into the culture, like I think that's one of the worst things that we have as the black community is having the culture. Not even like, okay, yeah, it's a design culture. Oh, it's systematic. They set it up that way. It's the juice, whatever,
Yeah, look, hold on.
orange juice, apple juice,
Yeah, the
all those
system.
different things in the system. And but the thing is, you make those decisions. Oh well, they promote
Yep.
it everywhere. All you have to do is turn it off. I haven't listened to young rap music at all. I don't listen. If you put me in a generation where I'm in the generation where all these people who listen to all this crap, I don't know any of their music. If I listen to music, it's shit from the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. If I even listen to music at all, because I don't want to think like them. I want to think like me. I want to form my own thoughts. Nowadays, this music is so like hypnotizing. It teaches you how to do everything wrong, and that's all that they fucking talk about, time after time after time. This shit is
It's
just crazy.
repetitive,
And
especially with the,
then,
Yes.
the, the introduction of drill music. Shoot him up, shoot him up, shoot him up, shoot him up. Shot him, smoking the back, like, bro. But we
and
can't say
Man, I
nothing about
tell
what
you.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I do, and I have listened to music like that. Now that I have another set of younger kids, like, I don't listen to it. But one of the things that I noticed that a lot of people don't want to notice is when I listen to certain music, input is output. So it's like when I listen to certain music, I can feel my mood changing. Like when I used to wake up listening to Zero every day. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? Like,
hold up. That's the
it's just,
one playlist I'm listening to is my
I'm
zero.
just saying though, but your mood changes though.
But
Your
I
mood
don't need no
changes.
help, my
Yeah.
nigga.
Your mood changes. Like if you're listening to a specific thing and you're like just repeating, you're like living in someone else's stuff, like it,
Yeah,
it will. But back to my main point, if you're everyone wants to talk about the system and stereotypes and say like, oh well, in history, if you get a minority, they're always charged at a higher penalty. Okay, so let's have a real honest conversation about that though. So if you look at the stats of crime with certain minorities and certain groups, the percentage and the amount of people that are committing crimes are extremely higher than other groups. So it's like when you go into a court system, it's they're supposed to be impartial, they're supposed to be non-biased, and they're supposed to only look at the facts, but human nature will always hold those opinions. When if every time you walk through a door and you see a particular type of person, you get slapped, when you see that person you're going to expect that. And the patterns, people don't want to break the patterns, people want to be out here acting a certain type of way and then get confused when people look at us a certain way. So it's like you can't be part of the stereotype, you can't be part of that and then complain about the system. Because if you're in your profile pictures, middle fingers, money, degrading women, doing all this craziness, and then you're like,
yeah,
oh, the system's this. No, you're
yeah, yeah,
oppressing yourself.
yeah. That's
Like,
a fact.
it's
That's a
like,
fact. Because that's
Perpetuated it.
exactly what they do. Hey, real quick, I'm gonna get into these comments and then we're gonna touch on right where we was at. Shane Lowe said, "Not enough time. Should have got life. Was first degree murder. Metcalf didn't deserve to die." I mean, I agree that it was that he didn't deserve to die. I don't know. I don't know that he really meant to. I mean, yeah, he didn't think that he was gonna tickle him with the knife, but at the same time, I don't think like a lot of kids when they're that age, they do something in the heat of the moment and it's what they think they know they're supposed to do. And because I've worked, and this is why I feel this way, is because I worked in the prison, and I've seen people who got life for murder. I've seen people who really killed people. I've seen people who killed people who hurt their family members, and they got life in prison. And even on the lesser side, people who just went out and murdered people, and all of them, once they've been there for about 10, 15 years, they're a whole different person. Some of those people, if you once you've been working at the prison for a little bit, you start to realize some of these people are actually good people. They just made a really bad mistake. They fucked up in the heat of the moment. It only takes 10 seconds to change your whole life. And then you're here for the rest of your fucking life. You never get a second chance. Like, and that's one thing that I think is fucked up about the system. I mean, whether you want to say it's black people, white people get more time, in reality, white parents pay for lawyers and black parents be like, boy, I'm not bailing you out. Like if we being real. So that's mostly what I think it is about the amount of time that they get at this point now. Maybe back in the day, it was way more time for black people because they were trying to send a message. But I don't think that it is the same today. I think it's, they do that shit on purpose because they know that nobody's going to actually get the lawyer. So you go to trial, you're going to get an extensive time. That's how it works.
But Pete,
yeah,
in
I
this
don't think
case, what I thought about, because I had to really sit and think about, because everybody, the question was like, this kid got 10 years and this kid got 35 and they did the same thing. I was like, okay, let me analyze the situation here. So in one case, one kid was being in the process of being beaten unwillingly and wildly swung, right? And didn't pursue. In the other case, the kid was pushed and struck decisively. And to side note that real quick, this kid has been depicted already as a highly competent kid with 3.6 GPA, something like that. Mm-hmm. Captain of his football team. And, yeah, right. And has saved other kids. So he's highly competent. So at his age, we know he knows what it would mean for a deadly weapon to strike this area of the body, what it could possibly mean, right? So when I put those two things together, it's like one attacked here, the other attacked here. Both in the torso, yeah, but if we're talking about defense versus taking a life, the more probable conclusion for self-defense would be down here
Yeah.
because less chance of losing, the perpetrator losing their life. Up here, it's a whole lot harder argument to make.
That's true. That is true because it's whenever you're. I mean, it's even if you use your firearm in self defense, you already know if you shoot somebody in the head or somebody in the back of their head, you're way more likely to not get told that that's self defense because you shot them while their back was turned. You shot them in the head. It matters where these things happen. If he got stabbed in the arm, in the leg, in the back, on his shoulder, it would have been a whole different story. But he got stabbed directly in the heart. Like
Right.
the blade went 2 inches into the heart.
Yeah, and
So,
everybody knows where the heart is on the body. Like,
yeah, I hope so.
I mean,
I'd like to hope so. Let me see.
So that's just how I rationalized it. It's like, yeah, I can see why he got 35, but at the end of the day, it's like, how do you really repay a lost life?
yeah,
You know,
that's like what you're saying. How do you replay it? So he should have gotten life. I don't know, because he is a teenager, right? And so I
Yeah.
don't know if I agree with he should have gotten life. 35 years to me is basically life. You know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of valuable years, and we all know how the economy is. If you're in jail for even 17 years, when you get out, your life is going to be very hard, and you're going to basically be in a prison when you're trying to just recuperate your life and start over again. So that sentence, like, your life has changed forever, and you're going to struggle forever. You're going to have a label on you forever, and this is also a high profile case. So even if you get off, people are going to know you for what you did. So it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, he already has life, whether he stays in jail or
Yeah.
not. And I mean, I'm assuming, like, when you take somebody's life, that's just not something that just helps you sleep better at night. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
there's a
Yeah.
number of things, because I'm not saying like, oh, he's so heinous, like he doesn't feel remorse or whatever. I mean, his actions kind of show like he didn't, because he didn't, take responsibility. He fought it. He didn't want to take a plea deal. He was like, what I did was okay. I don't feel like there was public accountability. And I think maybe if he would have done that, maybe if he would have, in this time frame where when it happened, when it went to court, was showing like more empathy, like, okay, I did this, it was wrong, and I'm gonna take responsibility, instead of like, bro shouldn't have touched me attitude. I think maybe it would have went a little bit different too.
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
contrition
I
and
agree.
apology. Just apologize to the parents, whether it was a purposeful, justified, whatever, or if it was an accidental, whatever. Right? In any case, a life was lost. I feel like apologize.
Right, because any
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
with any person with any type of moral compass or any type of character or respect for human life is gonna understand, even if they felt justified in the moment to do something, that someone still died.
Yeah,
Like,
you have
you
to
know what I'm
feel
saying?
some
Like,
type of remorse. Like if you're really a good person, if you really are a follower of God, you have that conscience in the back of your head that tells you, like, I really just did something terrible. I've had times where, maybe even a car accident, and I was like, oh my gosh, are they okay? Like, what if something really happened? And they were okay, but what if something really happened? I would have felt terrible. If you don't have that terrible feeling, that's a big issue on its own. Like, that shows that you have no remorse, and that's something that they're looking for as the jury, as the judge, as the public. We're looking to see, do you feel remorseful? And
and
when you're looking at how much time he got, that comes into play. He
and
wasn't remorseful.
the public was also looking at how he presented himself in everyday life, like
Yeah,
the way, like, he was portraying himself on social media. And I know it's okay to have a social media persona that isn't even who you really are. I get that.
yeah,
But you know what I mean? Like, there's certain behaviors that if you're like acting this way online, and if that's not really who you are as a person, you probably shouldn't be like posting, middle fingers and acting like you're this tough guy, because when something like this happens, they're gonna look at all that.
yeah. They are. They are. That is a
Definitely.
fact. And I will say, he even was posted with firearms and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So I agree to that. I definitely do. I'm gonna get to this next comment real quick. Diane Kirkwood, a person is dead. That's murder. He used a knife with his own hands. No mercy, conviction. And I agree with you. Like I don't have anything to go against that, Diane. It's terrible that he died. It is a terrible thing that a child, a youth is killed, and that's who we need to be protecting the most. I think that there should have been also a supervisor around. I don't see how there was an altercation that big and it's a track meet and nobody was around.
No
Nobody paid
adult
attention enough.
chaperone.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Um, at all. And up here as well, just so you guys can see, I put this up here. This is comparing the different cases that everybody was comparing them to, showing the difference between them. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but that's just so you guys can see it. Um,
They look pretty good
Mark
to me.
Williamson, what's up?
I'm looking. I'm watching. I'm monitoring on here, so they look pretty good to me.
Okay, cool, cool. Mark Williamson said he killed another young man. Let him think about it for a few decades. And I'm not opposed to that side of it either. My only thing is the only reason why I even say that he doesn't need as much time as he got is like I said, because I used to work in the prison and I used to see that they really do, they really can. I'm not gonna say they really do all the time. They really can turn their whole life around. And they really can realize after 5, 10 long years, I won't even say 5, 10 long years, they start to break. They start to realize I want to be an effective person in society. And that's the only reason why I say that maybe 35 years was extensive because maybe can learn from his mistake and actually add value to the society. But at the same time, I completely understand anybody who says that that's an extensive verdict. I mean, that's not an extensive verdict. That's not way too high because it's really not. I mean, he murdered somebody. I know plenty of people who get way longer for murder. I know people who have 50 years. I know a person. I have a friend who his little brother, when he was 15, murdered somebody. He sat in county jail for 3 years. And when he turned 18, they gave him 50 years for murder. And I think he deserves every fucking year of it, just being honest. So I don't necessarily disagree that he has the right amount of time or that he maybe even should get more. But I also see the side of, okay, well, what about you know, him ever having a second opportunity. When did that leave the American culture? Is having a second chance, having a
Ooh,
dream of being able to make mistakes and come back from it. I thought that was the American culture.
did that come in with
You know,
cancel culture?
I think it did, bro. Cancel culture might have changed it. That's a good point.
We're gonna have to analyze that.
For real. Larry Settle Jr. He should have gotten life. I mean, 35 years is pretty much life. I think it's 35 to life, but it might be
Most
just
of most
35.
most is
It's
meaningful
30,
life. Most,
it's 35, and then they said that he can be eligible for parole like 17 and a half or ish or something like that. Like half of the sentence. Was that 17 and a half years, 35
yeah.
Yeah,
ish?
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
And,
My math might not
and
be
Well,
mathing. I'm
typically
a
in the
little
state
bit.
of Texas, you only have to do like half of your time, unless it's aggravated, um, which I guess this isn't considered aggravated because it's murder. But if it was an aggravated crime, you would have to do majority of your time. But in the state of Texas, you only have to do 50%. You can get off on good time, which of course they could always deny your parole, and you could do the full 100% if they wanted you to, or if they don't think you're ready.
but let me
Um,
ask you
And
this:
okay, there is such thing as aggravated murder, just FYI.
Yeah,
when he
but I
Like
get
mean, you
like
typically
capital.
don't hear
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
hear somebody like say, "Yeah, I got aggravated murder," and then
Yeah.
as
No,
well
you
from
don't. You
that
don't.
they get out on they can't get out on parole because of that.
would he be able to get trustee status?
So how it works in the penitentiary, if you have more than 10 years, 10 years or more, how it works is you start off as what they call a G3. So there's five different levels of penitentiary status. There's G1, that's the trustees. There's G2, they're trustees as well. They can be. They're general population. Then there's G3. G3 is if you're doing 50 years or more, not 10 years or more. So and sometimes they even put in people who are doing 20 years or more, and you start off there for the first like 5 to 10 years of your prison sentence, And then as you leave there, you can maybe even become trustee, depending on how you work there. And they'll give you different jobs and stuff like that. A lot of times you come in as a G5 or a G3 where you're a maximum security. G4 is medium security. So you're not out in general population most of the day. You get a few hours of the day where you're in GP, but you don't actually be out all day every day. And then you have G5. G5 is when you're on lockdown pretty much 22 hours a day. You go out an hour for rec, you go out an hour for day room, but that's it. And then there's a maximum security ADSEG, where those are like the shot callers, the leaders of the gangs, the really high level criminals that have did a lot of crimes, did a lot of different things. They go to ADSEG, and they don't leave.
That's where you was at, wasn't it, Hook? I don't know if he's
Yeah,
still in
that
here.
shit's crazy. A lot of those people are mental health. I worked in ADSEG the first year of my career, and those dudes are crazy. They are a lot of them are mental health. They will put feces and urine in a bottle, shake it up, and throw it at you. Like if you piss them off, they'll get spears. They'll make spears and throw them at you. All sorts of crazy stuff. So more than likely, he will be in closed custody for the first probably 5 years of his prison sentence, and then after that, he'll have the opportunity to go to GP. And then if you mess up while you're in there, then you go back to closed custody, and then after 2 years, you can come back up and go to GP. That's kind of the cycle.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me though? Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep. Your mic sounds good. Ashraf Joseph said he deserves life, if not the death penalty. Why should he get to live? And I understand that, Ashton. And if this was any other situation and it wasn't a high schooler, I would agree 100%. But only because he's a high schooler, I think that he should have the opportunity to have a second chance at some point. Now, if this was a grown man, even if it was just 2 years later and he graduated from high school and he was out in the world on his own, I would agree with you 100%. He should get life or the death penalty. But only because he's a high schooler, I think that he deserves a second chance at some point because he's never even going to graduate. Well, I guess he did graduate, but when he did it, he was a high schooler. You make a lot of stupid choices when you're in high school. You make a lot of fucked up mistakes, and you mess up a lot. I think everybody in high school deserves a second chance.
I think I am with you on that because I know I have a lot of strong opinions, but to give a 17-year-old life, because even if he's smart, he is smart because he had his GPA and stuff like that. He
Yeah.
can comprehend things. He's still
He was the team
17,
captain of his
but he's
team
still,
on
but
football
he's
and
still,
track.
but he's still 17.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like there's a reason why you can't drink until you're 21. There's a reason why, you can't. There's just his brain hasn't all the way developed 100% logic and reasoning skills. Had he been a 30-year-old man, yeah,
That would be.
yeah,
I want you to get life,
yeah,
death. Shit, I want you to get RAP'd in prison. I want you to, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Everything. If you're a 30-year-old man, but being a high schooler is like, man, that's just kind of harsh to me. Life or death. Like, come on. He's. I get it. He's about to be an adult, and he is an adult now, technically speaking. But he's just a kid. He's just a kid. Let's not forget, we all made mistakes when we were kids. We all did crazy shit that we should be locked up for at some point when we
I'm
were
not even
kids.
gonna lie. I've been making crazy choices all the way until my middle. Like, look, it took me until
Yeah,
like early 30s, and in the middle of it, I was still doing
you know,
crazy stuff. You know what I
and
mean?
that's how it is
So
for a lot of people. Just a lot of people aren't going to say that. A lot of people aren't going to, or if they do, they don't look at it in the lens of other people make those mistakes too. They look at it as, yeah, this is my mistake. We can laugh about that, but let's not talk about the mistakes that they make. No, that we gotta crucify them for that. And I get it. Wrong is wrong. Right is right. Alice Connor says, "Sorry, no excuses. Where are the parents?" I agree with you. And here's another thing though. It's a heat of the moment type of situation. The parents could have taught him right the whole time, and clearly they taught him some type of sense because he had a 3.7 GPA. He was the team captain of his track team. He was the team captain of his football team. He wasn't an average kid. He wasn't. He stood out. So clearly his parents did something. Maybe it wasn't enough, possibly. Maybe they didn't teach him, hey, look, When somebody's messing with you, you can take the opportunity to walk away. It's not that deep. Maybe they didn't teach him that, but maybe they did. Maybe
But
he
it's
just took that
important.
split
Look,
second to
it's
do what
important
he
because
wanted to do.
I know you have kids, but I know
Yeah,
your kids haven't got to that point yet. I don't know about
right,
Des
right.
and his kids, but I'm gonna tell you like this: when you have teenagers, it doesn't matter what you teach them at that point.
Yeah,
They do, some of them listen, but some don't. You know what I'm saying? Like
no,
just
that's true.
because you've taught a kid, because I'm gonna tell you something like this: when I was a teenager, I was living completely different from my parents, what they taught me, the way that
I
I
was the same
acted,
way in my teens.
the way that I acted from my teenage years all the way up until probably my mid 30s. And I'm not trying to give away my age, but I'm just telling you, um,
You're
so
mid
like the
20,
way,
21 times three.
yeah. But anyway, so I know that like I know that how you're raised is not all the time how you're going to behave.
That is true. That's true too.
I
What
think
about
that's where
you?
the principles, I think that's where the principles and like morals come in. Not
Yeah,
so much as like tell your kids how to be, but give them the tools on how to navigate what and who they want to be. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Well,
And another
yeah, I
thing is
mean,
their friends. Who are they around?
that's a big
It
Yeah.
only
thing
takes
because
one friend for you to
oh
make
wait,
bad
this way.
decisions.
So that's what I was gonna say. So that's the biggest thing. No matter how much morals and principle, like all of the core values you instill in your children, the one friend that they're really close with, or the one boyfriend. Being a woman, I can say like we're very, very emotional, and we can, if we like a guy and he's like this
Oh
bad
yeah,
boy or whatever, and we're raised to like be a certain way, we'll change our whole life and become a
yeah,
whole
yeah.
nother person for a
Hey,
man that we like.
if you ever see a girl do coke, it's because her boyfriend does the coke. Whatever drug the girl does, it's because she got it from her nigga. Whatever religion she follows. If you see a woman was a Christian her whole life,
Religion is
and all
a
of a
big
sudden
one,
she a
man.
Muslim, it's because she's dating a Muslim guy, and that's
But
100%
men
true.
are not as easily, you know,
Well, we're influenced
shifted.
by peers. We're influenced by groups. So when it's groups of us, when it's a gang, whenever it's a clique, whenever it's
It
multiple of our
does.
colleagues, then we're influenced. Oh, bro, you can't jump up there and grab that and slap it, slap that duck off the ceiling, like whatever the fuck, right? You can't reach up and do whatever, and then now you gonna go do it. You can't jump off the roof and jump into the pool, bro. Come on, bro. We've been doing that since high school. And now
It's a
now
whole
you're
different.
gonna do
It's
it.
a whole different
But with
mental game.
women, it's a little bit more different. It's more like closer encounters. Like with your close friends, you're more influenced by your very close friends, your very close lovers, your very close relatives. With men, we're influenced by a crowd. We like the oohs and the ahs and the clout of doing something. Oh yeah, I did it, and they couldn't do that shit. Hey, look, I bitched 375. Them motherfuckers stopped at 250. Like
See,
whatever
that
it
is.
is, right?
So
Huh?
that's the women. The women value the community, the communal, the
Yeah,
societal part of it more, and that's what that's the value in it. And that's just the pride. That's how you
yeah.
get us.
Yeah. The pride.
And I
It's a
think
lot of
that's
things
what
you can't swallow. Pride is one of them that's real hard to swallow.
And I think
Mhm.
that's also, like I said, that played a big part in, because one of the things that I noticed about black men, it's like there's something in the DNA. And I'm not saying it's wrong. Like I said, there is systemic racism. There is things that were put in place, and there's things that are deep rooted in history and in our blood that, and I'm not a man, but in just the history of things that can, because water holds memory, and whoever doesn't, you can or can't agree with that as much as you want to, but that is, black people can be more angry. They seem to be more angry, and they are more angry a lot of times because of the injustices that have been done to them. Am I saying that it's right? No, I'm not. I hope nobody takes what I'm saying like I'm saying that's an excuse, because I've said plenty of times, everyone knows where I stand on this. Like, just because
Yeah.
of what history has done to you, you can be everything because of it, or nothing, like, or nothing. Like, you pick what you want to do based on, history and the things that have happened.
To
But
your point here, Harley, real quick. That's why I don't like that part either because it feels like we're identifying ourselves with the worst part of our history,
Right.
as opposed to the parts of our history when we were the builders, the educators, the architects. Like, do we not? Are we gonna what like you said, the choice? What part of your history do you want to latch onto at the end of the day?
Yeah,
And
so
I choose.
so it's like take that part of history and just be mad at it and beat it over and over, and then people, but
Yeah,
also on the flip side of that, there is a lot of people that want to say, well, forget it, it happened a million, 100, 200, 300 years ago, why are you still complaining? Like, that's also not a good response, because you have to recognize the trauma, recognize the history, recognize the injustice, but at the same time, the people that are part of those communities have to say, I'm going to rise above the injustice and all of the stereotypes, and I'm going to do better. I may be angry about what happened, but I'm not going to let that determine my actions. And there's like a big line that people like, it's like people aren't able to like reason through all of that. It's like, this was done to me, so I'm just
yeah,
angry every day. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
yeah.
no one's saying get over it. What we're saying is do better. I mean, you
That's a
can't be
fact.
mad. You can't be mad when people are looking at you and be like, "Oh, that's a nigga." Like, and you're acting like one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you just can't. You just
And it's
can't.
kind of
So
like anything, though. It's kind of like anything. You have to take, and most nobody has even lived through this. That is a lot. So all the systemic shit, it's already there when you were born. It's not brand new to you, for one. So you have to take with what it is, and whatever happened before, you have to say, you know what, that's cool. We can reflect on it. We could go back and look and say, hey, what did we learn? But we don't have to sit here and let it define our every fucking move. We don't have to sit here and say, "Oh, we didn't get the job because they didn't like me because of my skin color." We didn't have. We don't have to go and say every cop is messing with me because I'm black. We don't have to go and say, "Oh, this white person said that they don't like what this group of black people blue group of black kids did because they're racist." They're not racist. They're seeing the stereotype that you guys are setting. And why is there a stereotype? Because you guys are making that a stereotype. You guys keep performing those same habits, those same behaviors as a collective, as a group. And then when they see it so often, I believe stereotypes too. If I see a nigga coming down the street, or I'm sorry, if I see a black guy coming down the street, right? And he got dreads
what?
and he got his pants real low, and he got, I'm trying to describe it, what I was describing it too well
There,
to where
but
it's not.
there's a
I want to make
difference.
sure it's known as a
That's what you
stereotype.
meant.
A
So
black guy, yeah,
yeah,
that's what I meant, but that's the
yeah,
stereotype. A damn
yeah,
nigga. Like,
yeah.
but what I'm trying to paint the picture of, if I seen these same things, I would think the same thing. If I see a dude with dreads walking around with his pants real low, he keep pulling them up like he got something in there. He got his bag on his side like he leaning with something. He walk around with a blunt in his mouth and a blunt in his ear. What I'm gonna think? Hey, I carry every day. You know what I'm gonna do? Lift my shirt up a little bit. Like, let me make sure it's accessible. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and play with you either. You can call me whatever you want to call me, but at the same time, stereotypes are there because they happen over and over. Why you think people say Asians can't drive? Because the motherfuckers can drive good.
Wait, no.
Why you think? Why you
Because
think?
every time, because
What
every
do you
time
see?
I've
Why?
gotten into an
You know what I'm
accident,
saying?
it's because an Asian person's hit me. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Like, stereotypes ain't there for no reason. They're there because you guys are showing them that. And the only way it changes is when you change it and you do different behavior. And whenever you want to keep championing that stereotypes because, oh, the white man said that we do it. So now
Right,
we're gonna
like
do it twice as hard
let's
because
touch
we'll
on the
show you.
watermelon. Look,
Like,
let's touch on the watermelon felon comment. Like all of that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like don't act like that. And what do you guys think about that though? Like the comment that Austin's dad made, the
I
watermelon
I
feel
felon
don't
like
comment.
I feel like
know.
we collectively, because not all of us are involved in what happened with Austin's dad, but collectively, we made that man a racist.
Yeah, and the thing is, a
I
year ago,
agree.
he said he didn't want this to be about race. He straight up
Right.
said that, and he refuted all the broadcasters and activists and everything because he didn't want this to be that. So I mean, with
But put
every
yourself
when
in
you
his
have
shoes
the
though.
way, if you
I
had all
mean,
these black people coming at you crazy just because your son got murdered,
yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
boy,
I'm not gonna lie, I would probably be, I probably would have said worse. I'm not even gonna lie,
Well,
because
you'd be
like you're
lucky
talking.
if I wasn't on the
I've been
national
racist for
terrorist
about
list by
5 years
then.
too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying? Like, you'd be lucky if I wasn't on the national terrorist list by then. Like, what the fuck are you talking? My son got murdered. Yo,
yeah.
you no, I didn't kill nobody. My son got murdered. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And
But
the
Because
fact that
people,
people, the same people that are mad about the watermelon felon comment are reposting. And this is one of the things that I saw, online. People would be reposting, white people are weak. It only took one time to whatever, whatever. I'm not gonna even finish the quote, but
white people are weak. Let a white person say nigga.
because it don't, yeah, but they say that and they laugh and they keep sharing this comment and laughing about
yeah,
someone's death, right?
They laugh
And
about every
then get
white person's death.
mad
This shit is crazy.
about and get mad when someone says watermelon felon and get mad over, it's like, how are I just shake my head and it
Look,
makes it
I'm gonna
really.
say it like this. I ain't never walked down the street and heard a white person say, "Man, fuck the black man." But
Yeah,
you know
me
what I hear
neither.
every fucking day? Man, fuck the white man.
or
Every
fuck that
fucking
nigga.
day. Every day. Fuck that. Hey, but you don't hear that from a white person. You don't hear
Yeah.
that. Like I meet white people every day, the most conservative, the most redneck, the most country, and they love good, genuine people. Like I love to be around a good country redneck. They are some of the best people to kick it with. They got you some coffee, man. Some of the best coffee you'd ever had. I'm talking about got some fresh bacon from their own damn farm. Like, you know what I'm saying? I done literally did business with country rednecks, went over to their house. They done made me
So what you
breakfast,
saying, that
eggs,
I'm a
and grit.
country redneck because I got the cows in the freezer, talking about from their own
Yes,
farm?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'll bring
And the
you
biggest
some
thing
ground
though
Yes,
beef.
is
sir.
that, like the backbone, really, like when like you work for yourself. Harley, you make your own money. I make my own money, and I'm pretty
Here
sure
we
y'all
are.
realize the same thing I do. The backbone of America really is hard work, man. Are
Yeah,
you willing to
yeah.
get out there and get the dirt and get it?
And a lot of people aren't. Everybody wants a fucking handout. And that's what pisses me off about our culture is these handout. It's not all of our culture. It's not everybody.
No,
But the thing is, the people who do it are the loudest in the room. And so
and the
when they're
most
the
fit.
loudest in the room, you don't get to hear the people in the back saying, "Hey, man, they talking about some stupid shit. Look, this is what I'm doing." Like you don't get to hear that because they talking. It's me and Dez and Whitney talking to back like, "Hey, look, we about to go do this. Hey, look, you got that over here. All right, boom. I'm writing this estimate for this. Put that with this. Hey, what? My bad. I keep saying,
Yeah,
hey
it's
Harley, hey Harley, send me over your bid. We gonna put this together. Hey, you got the lines good. Boom. You got that going. Cool.
but
Send that
then
estimate in, and,
another
and they don't
part,
hear those
another but
conversations.
look, another part of what you're saying is how many times, like, how many times what you do in a business, like, I have all different types of friends from all different areas of life and different shades and ethnic backgrounds or whatever, but how many times is it when you're dealing with your black friends, it's like they always want the hookup. They never want to pay for anything that you're doing because they think, oh, you're my friend and you work here. I'm just
Let
supposed
me
to,
tell
like,
you. Let me tell
I'm
you.
supposed
I
to get
had
the
one of
homie
my
hookup.
friends. I had one of my friends. His girl's mom, black woman, acting real Southern black, cool, right? Cool, the cool mama. I did. I went and did her roof. She didn't even pay me my second half of the check. It
You
was
see what I'm
bitching at
saying?
me about it. Like what?
And
Like
it's
why would I want
always
to do
that,
business with you?
but
And
it's
then
all
you know who's
not
gonna pay me?
always.
You know who's gonna pay me and then pay me extra and ask if they could get some upgrades? The white man. And he gonna
And
pay
then
me with a
people,
smile on his face, and he gonna shake my hand and say, "You know what? I appreciate your service, brother." And that's what it's gonna be. And they're gonna treat me good.
I'll just say this: I got some dope ass friends. Like we
Yeah,
don't do the haggling with each other. Like our price is our price, and that's just what it is. We understand that between each other, but we also break bread with each other. Like if I know my guy is selling something, I'm making sure we get out there to sell something. Like he got the diversified multimedia. He's up in here. We promoting the music. We promote each other. So it's not
that's
like
different. Bartering is
yeah, but
different because you're
it's
yeah,
still,
it's
you're
it's not like
still,
bartering.
yeah. So if you're giving value to someone else and you're doing a service and then they're helping you, or you're still paying. I'm talking about, it's always like, you know, you look out for these particular people, they're always needing something, wanting something. Always. It's like you help them. It's like you're needing something, wanting something. They need and want all the time. And then the one time you need them to show up for you, or the one time you're like, nah, I can't give you a discount. Like my
they
business, I have to charge this because I'm actually not making any money, but they don't understand the concept of
don't
O and
care.
P. They don't know
And
about
that's a
overhead and
fact.
you know what
See,
I mean?
and a lot of people won't care and won't even think about it. Like, even we've had a conversation where we were trying to do some business, and you were like, "Hey, look, I'm not gonna make any on this," and I was like, "Oh shit! If you're not gonna make any, I don't want to even send it in." Like, and that's how it's supposed to be. If both parties are not winning, I shouldn't even want to do move forward. And that's how it should be. And the more people you have, and that's one thing. Diesel tells me this all the time. And he'd be like, you know what? You be thinking about it like you're not irregular from everybody else. Everybody don't think like that. And I'll be like, you know what? You
He tells me
fucking
the
right.
same thing.
You're
He
right. You're
tells
right.
me
You're
the
right.
same
Okay.
thing.
We are a little bit different from most of the culture and how people move and how people think. And I agree with that. But at the same time, it's just common fucking knowledge. Everybody knows to do it, just not everybody will do it.
It's an
And that's the
integrity thing.
game. Yeah. I'm gonna step off the camera real quick. Y'all keep rolling though.
Yeah.
He said, I'm gonna step off, but y'all keep rolling though. Now
I
we're just
gotta
left
I
in the
gotta
spot.
I gotta do something really, really quick.
Okay, I understand. I just had to pause too because my kid was like, "Do you want to see my tablet?" And I'm like, "No, I
Yeah.
don't."
I'm gonna bring up the next comment real quick. Well, I'm gonna bring up a couple of comments and then I'm gonna let you guys feed
Okay.
off of that.
All
So
right.
Shane Lowe, Ashton Joseph agree because he was 17, they can't give the DP. I know I'd like to know why not. Metcalf died and he was only 17, take a life, forfeit your life. What do you guys think about that death penalty situation?
I mean, I get like, what do you think, Des? Because it is life for a life. I mean, ultimately, if we had harsher consequences and our system was like, you kill someone, that's the death penalty, and that was the way the system was set up, then probably less we would have less crime going on if people knew like if I kill someone, then I'm probably that's going to be the end of me. You know what I mean? If but at the same time there's a flip side to all of that because some people are wrongfully accused. Sometimes like situations aren't like the justice system isn't perfect, so it's kind of like to just be black and white again. You have to that's another thing that I was saying, like you have to take into consideration all the facts. And
Yeah.
one of the facts is this kid was immature and young. And yes, he took a life. Someone was 17 and they no longer have the opportunity to continue with life. And that's not right. But sometimes two wrongs or two, having, I don't know how to articulate exactly what I'm trying to say, but having,
Two
having
two wrongs don't make a right.
two of the same, just because um, Carmelo was wrong in taking a life doesn't mean that his life should also be taken. Like,
Two lives being tarnished doesn't balance it out. It just makes it
yeah.
an even bigger tragedy. It doesn't make it to where any party
There's
wins.
no justice in that. There's no
Yeah,
justice in another kid get, getting killed. But also, again, I do understand he didn't show any remorse. He was acting like a typical nigga. You know what I'm saying with it, and I get how it's hard to feel empathy for someone that's behaving that way, or feel like, oh well, you know, don't give him the death penalty. But I'm just trying to be impartial. Like I'm just
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
look
yeah,
at it for, I'm not trying to look at it from an emotional perspective. I'm just trying to say like, hey, if I'm looking at all the facts and, this is what it is, I can see where the anger in it and saying like, a 17-year-old lost their life, so someone else should pay for it for their life. But that's also like everyone's not on the same level of understanding and intelligence, kind of something like Diesel tells us.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean? So it's
yeah.
like
I will say that.
if you have two dogs and one is trained and one isn't, right? And they both crap on the floor and tear something up and, do something, should both of the dogs get the same amount of punishment because the level of understanding is different. You
Yeah.
can't hold,
Yeah,
a baseline for everything when the people or the circumstances of the knowing, you get what I'm saying? It's
No, I get
like,
what you're saying. Like
yeah, it's
you
like,
know that the scenario is different for each one of them because of the circumstances and the upbringing of each one. And I agree with that. I personally I think that a death sentence for a 17-year-old, there's a reason why it's not allowed. And it should not be overturned at any point in time because these are kids. And to
yeah,
say that
they're
you want a kid
kids.
to die is insane.
Yeah,
I
I
get
think
it.
that's a
If you
little
think that he
much.
deserves life, cool. But thinking that he deserves to die as a child, no, I'm not going for it.
To that
Because I
Um,
just don't think that all of his actions just were just capital. They don't constitute like capital murder
it's a
situation. No.
whole different scenario.
No.
Yeah,
and my
yeah.
guy
Tim,
here sent me a quote from Albert Camus, a philosopher, right? And it was to the effect of murder and rebellion are contradictory because the moment you commit murder in an act of rebellion, you become the thing that you were rebelling against, right?
yeah,
I like that idea in Batman's The Dark Knight. You live long enough just to see
you like
yourself.
that movie?
I like.
Hey, this is the second time Des has referenced that movie to me on air.
But yeah,
Go ahead though.
it's that same idea though. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that's what I see has started to happen on a large scale from the loudest and the most vocal of us.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a shame. It's really a shame that it gets to that point.
So,
Because what people start to call out is instead of actually the situation, they start calling out racists. And really quick, before we really rant into this, I want to get through
okay,
these. We're kind of behind
comments.
on all these comments. We're like, it's a lot of them, and I want to make sure everybody is a
Okay.
part of the conversation.
Okay.
Um,
Let's
so
roll through the
Robin
comments.
W. Boyd, and Robin is a subscriber. Shout out to Robin. Hold up, I got something for you, Robin. Hold on. Let me get right. Robin, subscriber. Okay. All right. Now, with that being said, I can't help but to think that Carmelo Anthony was set up by his own family, being financially influenced by Dominique Alexander and his Next Generation Action Network organization. Could it be that Carmelo Anthony was intended to invoke a reaction from someone, anyone, by his deliberate sitting in a school rival seating area? Could it be that Carmelo was intended to defend himself against whoever confronted him in order to create a racial incident? It was obvious that after stabbing Austin, Carmelo, it keeps going, but it doesn't show me the rest of the comment. Let me take a look.
Maybe he put it in a different uh
Uh, oh, it just doesn't show me. It's, it's all good. But I mean, I'm never against the fact that it could be a psyop. It's always
yeah.
possible for it to be a psyop. I think a lot of the different times where they use opportunities to divide us, a lot of the times it is a psyop. A lot of the times it's something that they plant and they want us to stay divided based off of race. Whenever we're all just American citizens, we are all just American citizens. We should love each other as neighbors, as the Bible tells us to. We shouldn't be going against each other based off of the color of our skin. It doesn't matter. It will be different if we were like different countries, if we were, across different borders, and we had some type of conflict amongst each other as countries. But we don't. It makes no sense for us to be against each other for the color of our skin. It just doesn't. And me being mixed, having a white mother and a black father, it always threw me the fuck off because I didn't understand. It never made sense to me that people don't like each other because of the color. Like I grew up seeing both colors, and it was like, how do you hate anybody? They're all the same. Like my mom would act very similar to how a lot of people say a black mom acts. My dad act very similar to how people would say a white dad acts, and vice versa. They did both. They were on both sides. They were very similar to just humans. We're American, like American culture, and people forget that it's the American culture that polarizes us, not necessarily your race because overall you're in America. Uh, Robin W. Boyd says, "Sorry, Josh, to answer your question. The judgment is fair, but more people should be investigated over this incident, especially Dominique Alexander." You know what, Robin? Just for you, I'm gonna do some more research on Dominique Alexander, and I'm gonna come out with a video here soon for you whenever I find that research, Because
Well, he
clearly
says
this piece,
he said he had no say so in the choosing of the attorney, that his role as part of the Next Action Network as the president, whatever, is to make sure they have options of viable attorneys available to them. And he explained that the Anthony's had declined the lawyers that wanted like $500,000 in self defense fees.
mm,
So, but he also said he don't know how much they paid for the lawyer they got, but that is also a
nothing.
lawyer that they chose.
Yeah, well, they was also the parents actually came out as well and said that they were influenced on who to choose to
Right.
get them to represent Carmelo Anthony. So it's like a big controversy around that, and it could be something behind that, Robin. I agree with you, Robin. That could be something. You never know nowadays. Anything could be a fucking psyop nowadays. Really, genuinely. After 9/11, you don't know. Um, Stephanie Wilson. Shout out to Stephanie Wilson. You're always on all my comments. I appreciate you for always supporting. They showed mercy by giving a sentence one third of what they could have. You know, when you take it to trial, you're actually right. You're actually accurate because taking it to trial is very risky. I think they knew that he wasn't going to win. I think his parents wanted to, drag it out to buy him a new house and get him set up. And hey, at least if you're going to go to prison for life, at least we'll be set up and good. At least your family's good. I think it was something more on that lines. So I think you could be right about that. Real quick, I just want to remind everybody in the chat: go ahead, hit that like button, hit that follow button, share for the algorithm. Go ahead, get this rolling. We're having some good conversations here. We're getting into the gritty. We're not being biased. We're talking about it all. So get this message out. More people that need to have conversations like this. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, drop a comment. We'll bring it up. Lena Douglas, Robin W. Boyd. That's called premeditation. Okay. Is this your people right here?
Sir, that's a Retro Gaming Dojo. Y'all can find him on YouTube too. He's I don't think he's in right now. I think he left. Oh shit, he might be.
We got so behind on the comments. This is from 619. It's about to be.
That's what I'm saying.
Robin W. Boyd, the lives of two young people have been destroyed. If this incident was provoked by others, such as Dominique Alexander and the Anthony family, others need to be held accountable. I agree. I think there should be equal accountability for all of the people who set this up. Your boy in there. Oh, you got a couple of boys in here. Diversified multimedia, yo. What's up, multimedia? Diversified multimedia music. I know that's your boy. I think this is you, right?
That's me. Yo,
Damon, what's up, my boy Damon? Another proud supporter. That's Al's boy right there. Real dude, real legit guy. Right wing K, what's up, Kayla?
What up, Kay? You should have been up here.
Join the link. Hey, look, the link is still in the chat, Kay. If you want to hop in, go ahead, hop in. Let your thoughts off. And it would be good to have the diversity because me and Whitney are mixed, but it's different whenever you have a little bit more diversity, especially for a topic like this. So let us know if you want to hop in. Just go ahead and join the link, and I'll bring you up. Willie Neckbone, depends on how you look at it. Is taking a life worth losing 35 years of your life? I know it's not for me. Clearly, it was for Carmelo Anthony, but for me, the penitentiary ain't no place for no man. Erica Guy, it just bothers me that they're trying to make this about race. I agree. The town that I grew up in, there was a case of some kids we all knew, and the boys were 17 years old, and they killed another one. Well, the one that shot the person served 35 years, and the other two were with him got 30 years, and they were all white. The killers and the person that got killed, just saying. And that's a good point. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier is it's not really about the color of their skin. It's about who is paying for the lawyer. So when you look at it and you say, oh, well, the black person gets more time than the white person. Well, who paid more for their lawyer? Who is typically going to have some extra money aside for that? It's typically going to be the white person. I'm just going to be real with you. Seeing it time and time again. Dale Lukens, not enough years. Okay. You think not enough years? I guess Matthew Brown, Case and Allison. I
Oh
guess
my
you're
god,
comparing that.
I just
which
don't like
which
this at all. I was like, I
which
don't like it when people bring that up.
once again, I have
Where they
all
where
of
they
the cases. I have
where
all
the
the cases. These are all the cases lined up together. So if you guys want to take a look at these, I'm gonna keep these up for the next 5 minutes. You guys can be able to look at this, everybody in the chat, and see the comparison between all the different cases in Texas within the last 10 years that were similar to this. I pulled them all up. I got the research for it. Here it is. Take a look at it. They're not the same. If we're
a
just
lot of
being
people from out of state have latched on to that Case and Allison thing, and it's like, hold your
yeah.
horses now. Like, make
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
for
about
real.
the case first. You know what I'm
He
saying?
literally
Yeah.
had a whole head injury where he was vomiting and, had to go to the hospital. It's like, how do you compare that? And I'm not saying, I don't know if Carmelo had any actual injuries, but um, when people jump so far into the fact of saying like, oh, if he wouldn't have stabbed him, he would have been jumped, killed, whatever. Like, first of all, he doesn't even have a black eye, so where do we get? And
Yeah.
then some people are like, hey, well, if Austin never put his hands on him, he would still be alive. We can't say that either, because who knows, he could have said the wrong comment and Carmelo still would have stabbed him even without the push. I mean,
You really never know.
we could speculate till we're blue in the face, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
but it's like,
You really just never know until the situation arises. And I mean,
he,
there's conflicts with
someone
kids all the
misunderstood
time.
what we were saying. Sid was saying basically murder is not a little teenager mistake. It's a total moral failure and deserve a severe punishment. But yeah, 35 years is a severe punishment, and it's not a little mistake. No one is saying that. So another thing is, I think people listen to what other people are saying and don't understand what's actually being said, or they take what's being said and like process it however they want to process it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because no one said
That's
it was a
it.
little
It's a
mistake.
big teenager mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not a little
It is
teenager mistake.
it's a
It's a
big teenager mistake.
big
Yeah, you're
mistake.
right.
It is a moral
It's a big
mistake,
ass
but
teenager
we're
mistake.
just saying that we can understand that he is a teenager and that teenagers are more reactive and don't know how to control their emotions. Like a 4-year old, you know how they have meltdowns and stuff like that. Like, you can't expect them to like logically think things through. 17-year-olds don't always have the
No, I make my
best.
4-year-old write essays after he breaks down.
Well, yeah.
No, no, I'm kidding.
No, I'm saying, like, I mean, I
Yeah.
do something similar along the lines,
Well, I
but
don't make
what
him write an essay now. That's
I
actually
mean,
I
not
was
essay,
joking.
they can't write an essay, but for real, we do, with all of that, you know what I'm saying? No
That's
essay
for
is
another
an
topic. We'll
essay.
get on that at
Yeah.
another live. Yeah.
But uh but yeah, like, we can understand that being 17, you may not make the best choices all the time.
That's
That's
a
why,
fact.
again,
And that's one thing
you
people
can't
have
go
to
in
take
there.
into accountability.
Yeah, because you can't go into a liquor store and buy liquor at 17, because we know, like, liquor on top of the age, probably making a lot of bad decisions, right? There's a reason
You
why there's
can't be a pilot until you're 28 years old. You cannot have a lower insurance until you're 25. You can't run for any type of government position as far as like, a governor, mayor, anything until you're 35 years old. You can't do all of these things until you're a specific age. And it's for a reason because your brain develops in a certain time frame. Obviously, this 17-year-old kid was not fully developed. There's no way that we should be saying that he deserves the death penalty. Life is, I can understand the people who say life. Like, I can understand that. But death, no. I'm
what
sorry, I didn't mean
comment
to
are you
cut you
reading?
off.
No.
Uh,
I was just trying to figure out, because that's a different comment that's on the screen.
yeah, I'm just doubling
Oh.
down on
Yeah.
it.
Oh.
Teresa, I made mistakes, but I never have taken a life or hurt anyone physically. Following the law pretty much keeps people out of prison. I agree with you, Teresa, but
To
I
a
will
point.
say that not everybody grew up in the same environment that you did, and I'm not giving any
Excuses.
any slack
Yeah.
or any excuses,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, people have different norms than you. Some people, they think that if somebody steps to them, they have to show that they're standing their ground, whether it's fighting back or going above and beyond. And that's what I always say, like when I talk about this case, and I say you have to take both sides, the lessons from both sides. One, Don't bring a weapon. Don't stab anybody, right? Especially at school campus. Especially if it's not real self-defense. Especially if that person wasn't really harming you yet, right? And two, don't put your hands on people because you never know where the next person will take you. You never know how far they will take it. And I learned that working at the prison.
Yeah,
Because
and
you
you don't
never
know their
know how
mental
far a motherfucker will
status. You
take it.
don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
just
mean?
really don't
So
know. And even if you know this person, anybody could snap at any time for any reason, and you have no clue. And they might have anything going on. You just really never know.
and
Uh,
yeah, that I mean, just because that goes back to what we were talking about earlier when people are saying, well, like I've made mistakes, but I've never done anything like this. Well, but you're not that person and everyone doesn't react the same way, you know.
yeah,
Everyone
you
is,
had
and
different
I'm not making
parents.
excuses. You know how strongly I feel about this and
Yeah,
how much I'm saying like he was wrong, dead wrong. And I,
right.
I've been beating it, like beating it, beating
Yeah, yeah.
beating that
He
point.
was wrong. He was wrong. I
Yeah.
agree. But
But to say that
people
you've
do
made
make mistakes.
mistakes and you've never done this or that, well, I mean, people don't always make the same type of mistakes. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I can agree with that. Matthew Brown, who's to say he didn't try? There were no witnesses. Those were friends of Austin Metcalf. No truth in their testimony. Are you
Didn't
saying that
try.
everybody? I think he's saying that everybody who were the witnesses were friends with Austin Metcalf, and that Carmelo Anthony had no true witnesses for his side. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Like that he didn't try to kill Austin. Is that what he's trying
No,
to say?
I think he's trying to say that all the people that spoke up in the trial or in the case were only friends with Austin. They weren't Carmelo's friends, so their opinions and their statements were biased because they were writing. Basically,
Yeah.
they're writing
So
for
he might
they
have
were
tried
writing
to
for
de-escalate.
Austin versus
Okay,
so
yeah,
they're yeah,
Yeah.
he's basically saying, yeah, like how do you know what happened or how do you know we know that
Right.
he didn't try to de-escalate because he was still in the tent.
Well,
yeah,
and there's camera footage.
right,
There
yeah.
is camera footage, even camera footage that wasn't released to the public or even to the rest of the courtroom that got released to the jury. And they were able to describe the camera footage. And the camera footage described him walking around doing different things.
They
Everything
said it
but
was
something.
lacking though. They said the camera footage was kind of lacking. Like, it was hard to kind of
No,
see
that was for
everything.
the actual stabbings.
Okay.
They said
You
the
know, now
actual, like
like you
his
said
different
earlier,
body language.
like you said earlier in the stream, Josh, he was asked to leave. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
That was de-escalation point number one, and it's a tent. Like just leave.
There's a
He
lot
has
of
no.
Yeah, yeah.
exits. You know
Or
what I mean?
communicate back. Hey, look, man, I'll leave as soon as the rain is done, guys. I just don't want to get wet. Whatever, like
N-
these are my good
not
shoes.
not
Whatever.
not make me pussies or touch me.
Yeah,
Don't try. That's
you
not,
don't antagonize. Like, and that's
if
one
you're
thing that we have to hold them accountable for is you have to be able to communicate to anybody for any reason, and that's something I'm gonna bring up the prison reference again. We used to call it verbal judo, where you can talk to anybody, be able to, instead of fighting with them, be able to maneuver and manipulate the conversation to where you can win without having to get into a real conflict. Whether you guys are seeing at odds or you guys are on the same page, you can maneuver and manipulate the conversation to be in a winning position to where you're not in a situation like this. That is one of the biggest things. You have to be able to maneuver your conversations. You have to be able to articulate what you feel, how you want to do things, what you're trying to do. If you can't articulate it, you're going to be at a disadvantage in this world. That's just how it works.
And
yeah.
then this
That's
point
why
right
people
And
here.
get the angry
the
black man narrative is because most black people they don't want to take the time to articulate how they feel. They just get pissed off and they want you to know that they're pissed off and stop fucking with me because I'm pissed off. But they don't want to tell you, hey, look, this is what's actually going on with me.
At
Look,
this point right
what
here,
was
if you
the
could help me with
they're
this,
saying he was bullied. Who in their right mind, if I'm afraid of this bully, I'm going to sit near this bully.
yeah,
that and that's the narrative that people are trying to, like, oh, he was getting harassed, he was scared. Human nature, if you're scared, you're not going to sit there and start debating with somebody or going back and forth. Like, if you're scared in a situation, you're going to try to get out of there. You're not going to sit there and
yeah,
say, well, make me.
It's even more premeditated, right?
And you're not gonna start digging in the bag. You're not gonna do any of that. You're gonna
Yeah,
get
if
up.
you're
You're gonna move
scared,
around. You
yeah,
might even go get some of your homeboys and be like, "Hey, look, they trying to press me over here," but you're not gonna sit there with surrounded by people who you are
and
intimidated
posture.
by.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah,
gonna sit there
yeah.
and posture when you're scared,
This
because
ain't.
that's
This
just
ain't.
not
This
human
ain't.
nature. It's
This
just
isn't
not.
training day. This isn't training.
Yeah,
You're not gonna turn around and say, "I'm gonna put cases on all you bitch." You're not gonna do that.
yeah,
You're gonna
yeah.
walk away with your tail between your legs, like the typical person. You not that. And Carmelo Anthony was not a big kid, so I'm not believing he was that stiff. Um, Pat Pat Grape. I'm not even gonna say your last name, Pat. If you want to take someone's life, be ready to accept the consequences for your actions. I agree to that. I agree to that, Pat.
Cut
It's a
and
good
dry.
point. Matthew Brown. Why is the video now sealed? That is a good
Probably
point.
because people take, horrific crimes and horrific things that happen and post them all over the internet. Like it's funny, like they did it to Charlie Kirk, and he's only 17. So there's a lot of reasons why.
But you know what
Like,
they also have? The Freedom of Information Act, where you can request that if you want
Yeah.
that, Mr. Brown.
Well, from my understanding, those are still under wraps. People have tried to FOIA them, and they haven't got them out yet. But at the same time, they will be out and available at some point. There's a reason why, and it was covered up because they didn't want, according to them, they didn't want the racial divide, and they want everything to be so out there in the air.
what's already
But at the
happened.
same time, exactly, which they knew was going to happen. They set it up that way. Um, Ashton Joseph, Ashton and Joseph, Shane Lowe. I agree. He he should at least have gotten life. Yeah, no, I can feel that. Life acceptable. Death not. Robin W. Boyd. I was not aware that Carmelo Anthony was suspended from his school for carrying a knife. Still, it seems. Oh, so yeah, that's another point. Carmelo Anthony was suspended from his school
But they cleared that
previous to
up. They
this for
confirmed that.
carrying a knife. Before this incident happened, he was already suspended from his high school for carrying a knife. So that was a good point,
Patterns.
Robin. I forgot
Yeah,
about
right,
that.
right. Yeah.
Um, and still, it
I
seems
found
that there
out.
was some outside influence on Carmelo that influenced his decision to provoke an incident at the track meet. I don't think that there was necessarily outside influence, if I'm being honest with you, Robin. I think that I think that he had it on his mind. Nobody's gonna fuck with me today. And when he sat there, he knew nobody was gonna fuck with me today. And if they fuck with me, I got something for them. And I'm saying that as a young guy who is a minority who's been in those shoes. My mother
Yeah.
died when I was 16 years old, and I was against the whole world when my mom died. And there was nobody who was gonna make me do anything when I was 17 years old. And I would have took it to that level if I didn't grow up and mature as a man. So I think that it was more of he wasn't going for it. Chad Shaver, what's up, my dog? Look, I used to work at the prison with Chad Shaver. Real stand up
Well,
dude.
back to the other
What's up?
comment, when he said outside influence, the only outside influence would have been, like we were talking about, maybe he woke up that day and was listening to a particular song that was like, yeah, I'm gonna, like that might be an
Yeah, yeah,
outside
yeah.
influence, but I mean,
Well, he
really
might
it
even had a
was.
couple of buddies or something at the most, but I don't think it was anything a bigger entity.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, appreciate you, Chad, for tapping in. Diversified multimedia, still moving stuff. Okay, okay. That was him checking in with you from earlier. We so behind on these comments. This whole show finna be catching up on comments. This is the view of the problem from two blacks admitting they got away with making big mistakes. They just didn't get caught. And athlete, what course did he take? Dumbbell math and basic science, English, and two PE classes. I know how that works. Go interview the top 100 draft choices of football and basketball that graduated college with BA degrees. Many are not capable of living on their own. A recent college grad drafted into the NFL couldn't sign his name or read the contract pass. I'm not even going to get into that because he started talking about black something, whatever. I'm just going to leave that where it was. Stephanie Wilson. Stephanie Wilson. He's also heard people calling for death of his other son for over a year or two. And that is a fact. Hunter Metcalf does not deserve this retaliation because his brother died. Imagine your brother dies, your twin brother. Like I have a brother. He's 10 years older than me. That is my best friend. If anybody ever fucked with my brother, and he's 10 years, I was 8 years old saying I would fight anybody for my brother, and he's 10 years older than me. I would have fought an 18-year-old for my brother at that time. There's nothing that's gonna separate me and my brother. Imagine losing your twin brother. Like you've lived your entire life from birth with this person, and then everybody's threatening your life. Everybody's threatening your life because your brother died. That's insane to me. Like I can't even imagine that. That's absolutely absurd.
That would drive me crazy.
That would, man, for real. Diversified multimedia music. Just realized that that's Harley. What's good? He said, "What's good, Harley?" Robin W. Boyd. LOL. Never heard of the watermelon felon term. I'm an old white dude who really likes watermelon. shout out to the white dudes that like watermelon.
Oh man.
Teddy Grams TV. Is this your boy too, Teddy Grams?
Yeah.
Big
I'm going to
facts.
facts too, but that was a while ago.
We were speaking facts. Hey, look, whatever it was, we were speaking facts. That's for sure. Robin W. Boyd. I'm not a fan of locking anyone up and taking care of them as if they were an animal. In the instance of murder, the convicted murderer would be better off executed than locked up for an extended period of time.
Yeah, but then
and that's the thing. They would be
like murderer.
Well, I mean, honestly, if we're being real, the death sentence is life. Like you're gonna do 25, 30, 40 years before you get a death penalty, before you actually die. So yes, it would be substantially less time for them if they died, but or if they got the death penalty. But at the same time, it would take so long for them to actually give them the needle or the chair, or whatever source that they want to give them. They would essentially do life anyway. That's why I feel like it doesn't really make too much of a difference. But just killing kids is not cool.
Yeah, Teddy Grams, that was my boy too. And what's up to the diversified music? I had a little pause. I had to take a pause. So
You're
I
good.
wasn't trying to
I'll put it back up. There you go. Brian Moore. What's up, Brian Moore? Brian Moore is another good, proud supporter. He's always under all my posts. I appreciate you. All the support you give, Brian Moore. His con artist parents left their kid to rot. This is why GoFundMe and all these other donation platforms are risky. BLM, Oklahoma, is another example of embezzlement. 35 years for killing someone is not enough. And yes, please read this aloud. Hey, salute to that, Byron Moore. I fuck with the confidence. I fuck with you standing on it. I agree. The GoFundMe, all this bullshit, these donations, I don't see how you get donations for somebody who did the crime. That is crazy to me, for one. For two, I think it's definitely embezzlement. Like, for you to just steal all this money for all this, trial and then go and buy a house with it. And then they say, oh, it's because they needed to relocate for security purposes. Come on, get the fuck out of here. You needed a $600,000 house? You needed that? Come on. Jury was offered neither manslaughter or first-degree murder. Jury got it right. Oh, they were offered either manslaughter or first-degree murder. Okay. I can feel that. I can agree with that. If the jury picked it, the jury of your peers picked it, it was clearly murder. Now, do I feel like it could have been manslaughter? Yes. But is it murder? It's murder. That's what the jury claimed.
No, that's probably why the judge left it up to the jury.
Well, that's how it's supposed to work.
They wanted to give them, life. But
yeah,
the whole mercy thing, let's let your peers figure out what they want to do with you. Let's let the community figure it out.
That's what it's supposed to be. Teddy Grams TV, eye for eye leaves the whole world blind. Hey, that's a good quote.
Follow
Stephanie
Teddy
Wilson. Or go ahead. Go ahead, Des.
I said follow Teddy Grams.
Yeah. Follow my boy Teddy Grams TV. Shout out to my boy Teddy Grams. Eye for eye leaves the whole world blind. Write that quote down, y'all. Stephanie Wilson. I don't like the Metcalfs. Would want DP either. Oh, I don't think the Metcalfs would want the death penalty either. Yeah, I don't think they would either. They would probably want them to do life in prison. If we're being honest, that's probably what I would want.
Mr. Metcalf said he's going to be their father parole hearing. to make sure
Yeah.
or make sure Carmelo don't get out, whether it's in life or whether it's in death. He's gonna make a video to make sure
Yeah.
that his voice is heard at that hearing. So it's like, ugh.
Right. Right. Erica Guy, there's consequences for our actions, and that kid didn't just lose his life, but his family and friends have to reap the consequences of the pain and the grief the rest of their life. So I don't believe 17 and 35 years is too much by any means. I can understand that. And when you put it that way, yeah, his family and friends are gonna have to feel that for forever. I actually my cousin, he was a year older than me. And when I was 18 years old, my cousin got murdered. And I remember feeling the way I felt, and being young, I wanted to retaliate. There was so many different things I wanted to do, and when I found out that they caught the person that they caught, I wanted them to give them everything they can give them because there's nothing like being able to pick up the phone and call my cousin again. Being able to hang out with him and say, "Hey, let's go grab some lunch, bro. Hey, look, man, I'm having a hard day. Pick up the phone, call my cousin, and we can chop it up about it." It's nothing like that. It's you're never gonna get that feeling back again. You're never gonna get that person back again. So I don't
So
disagree that he
I
could
don't
have got
disagree.
more.
I don't get disagree, but maybe I'm missing, like I'm interpreting what she's saying differently.
Well, how are you interpreting it?
They're just saying that I'm interpreting that they're saying like 17 to 35 years, saying that it's too much. That doesn't make sense. Like 30, 17, 35 years, that's it's not too much. And I don't
No,
think
she
it's
said
too.
I don't believe 17 to 35 years is too much by any means.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you said that the other way. My bad.
No, yeah, like
Let me shut up.
basically saying 35 years, don't complain. Like saying that it's too much is, so this is my, I'm going to touch on this for a second, because a lot of people are saying actions have consequences, and Austin should have never put their hands on him, so that's why he died, right? And then in the same breath, those same people that make those comments will say 35 years is too much. So here's my take on it. People are willing to give someone the death penalty, like hand out a death penalty and say, like, hey, you push someone, you deserve to die. But then they turn around and say 35 is too much. The same people are saying that. I'm not saying we think that. I'm saying like there's people that are
That's a good
arguing.
point.
There's people that are arguing, saying like, oh, there's actions or consequences to actions, and no one should ever touch, and then no,
Yeah,
Austin should have never touched him, so he got what he deserved. And then those same people are turning around saying, hey, 35 years is too much. So
yeah,
how can you give someone hand down a death penalty for a push, but then say someone that took another life that 35
yeah,
years is too
yeah.
much? And I
Right,
don't, I
exactly. How
don't,
can you take it
yeah,
into your own hands to give them a death sentence
yeah.
versus
But what I'm saying is
sentencing?
I'm just talking about from the outside looking in, right?
Yeah,
As a commenter, like someone that's commenting on the scenario, those people with opinions that are saying like a push justified him dying, or they understand why he died because he shouldn't have put his hands on anyone, and actions have consequences, right? And
yeah, yeah.
then they'll turn around and make it seem like Carmelo shouldn't have any consequences for his actions. So if
No,
a
I
push,
agree.
so if you're saying that, not you, not
Yeah,
us,
yeah.
but if
The
people are those
public.
people, yeah, if those people that say, oh, a push, well, he should have kept his hands to himself, like there's consequences for actions, and then they turn around and say 35 is too much. I don't get how someone can logically land there.
Because
Like I
they're
don't.
not logical. They like that's one thing you have to realize. Like, and I'm gonna say this, and I say this all the time. These people did not grow up with their father. They were raised by their mother. All they felt was their mother's emotion. When their mother got pissed off, they didn't get a whooping silently, and their dad walked in silently with the belt and said, "Come sit down. You ready for your whooping?" Talk to him and everything. No, their mother came in screaming, yelling, saying, "Get your motherfucking ass in the motherfucking room! I'm about to whoop your motherfucker." That's how they came in. So whenever when you look at it that way, most of these people they were raised by a single mother. Most of these people who are emotional like this, or if they're not, they're sheltered in a certain way to where they're so sensitive by every little thing, and they don't think logically; they think emotionally. They don't think about, hey, look, if that justifies death, then why does him killing him not justify death? Why is it that a touch, a push, a shove, a punch justifies a stabbing, but you stabbing doesn't justify death?
I think
They
it
don't
goes
think
even
that far.
deeper
They
than
only
that.
think to the tip of their nose.
Yeah, and I think it even goes even deeper than that because it's like when people are looking at the players, right? They see whatever player that they identify with or that they're
Yeah,
emotionally
they pick
connected
a
to,
team.
and then they pick a favorite, and the accountability only applies because if we just took this whole scenario and flipped them around, the same people that are saying 35 years is too much would have been saying death penalty. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If the
yeah,
color was different, the same
that's a
circumstances,
fact.
then you just so it's like you can't look at the players and say like I look like this person so I identify with this person and I'm going to back this person because I'm part of this tribe. This
Yeah,
whole like tribe mentality is a big problem and we know cuz we're called coons, we're called anything because like we have different political points, right?
yeah. You
And
know, I'm a proud Uncle
um
Tom.
yeah,
Call
so
me your hero.
so it's like if you don't think in a pack mentality, like if you don't think like everyone else in your pack, then it's like you get the insults. It's like free thinking is
A
dead.
mob.
It's like free thinking is dead, right? Like nobody thinks that it's possible to have like your own opinions. It's like if you have an opinion about one particular thing, for example, I'm a conservative, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but I don't agree. That doesn't mean that I'm MAGA, and it doesn't mean that there's everything that Trump does that I agree with. And I'm bringing this up because a lot of my comments when I'm talking about this issue, everyone always wants to say, oh, that's a MAGA, a MAGA, a MAGA, or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm
I
just
get
like,
it
what does
every
that have
day.
to do? Like, what does that have to do with anything?
I get
Nothing.
it
It
every
has
day.
nothing.
And like
Yeah.
me personally, I don't fully agree with any politician because all of them have a trick up their sleeve. There's not any person at the top of anything that doesn't have a trick up their sleeve at some point. But I do appreciate a lot of the things that Trump does, and I'm gonna be
Right.
vocal about it. And if that's how I feel, that's how I feel. If you have some type of distaste towards me because I agree with what our president of the United States, our country that we live in, is doing, and I'm proud of what he's doing, maybe you should take a look in the mirror because okay, you can feel however you feel about whatever you feel about with whatever specific things that he's done that you don't like. But at the end of the day, I like these things, and I can speak about that all fucking day. It doesn't make me
Yeah.
any different than
but
you. It doesn't make me kissing up to the white man, and I get
but
that
let
all the
me tell
time.
you though, it's like, but that doesn't mean you agree with everything and all the positions that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
I don't
people
agree
think
with
that if you
everything you say. I don't agree with
right.
everything Diesel says. There's shit that Des probably says, and I haven't worked with him enough. Respect to Des, but there's probably shit that he says that I don't agree with. But guess what? That's my brother right there. His sister right here. Diesel's my big bro. Like all y'all is my people. I'm not gonna sit
Right.
here and flip on you because you have a disagreement in my opinion. And that's
Right.
exactly why I did that test run on my audience this week. Is I went completely against the grain. I wanted to see who
Right.
was really gonna follow me and who was really gonna stay there, who was really gonna stick around. And we got good people like my boy Robin W. Boyd. He's been with me since month two. It's my dog right here. And he's a proud white man, older gentleman. Like, why can me and him not get along? Because I'm a younger black guy and he's an older white guy. Why can
Right.
we not? Why can I not be just as good as friends with him as I am with anybody else? And speaking of that, Robin W. Boyd said, Josh, thank you for your response to my post. We're in complete agreement that hateful people want to keep us divided based on our ethnicities. Something that none of us something that
None of
not
us
one
has
of us
any
had
stay
ever.
over.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I don't know why I
Yeah.
couldn't read that shit. The easiest words in the whole fucking thing I couldn't read. Shout
So the
out to you,
Democrats.
Robin. It's people like you and me and Whitney, or I'm sorry,
Again,
me,
again.
you, Harley, and Des that make the difference. Not looking at the color all the fucking time. Who cares about that? We're all just American citizens. We grew up in the same country in the same places, just a different city. Maybe just a different city. Teddy Grahams TV. Eye for eye leaves the whole world blind. Oh,
We
we got that quote
we've
again.
been
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
we
I think
um
he I think he double commented it.
He did.
You know what? I want to give Stephanie Wilson a round of applause too, man, because Stephanie is always under all my posts commenting, supporting. She's truly unfiltered and logical. Shout out to Stephanie. Okay, so Stephanie Wilson says, very risky going to trial. Yes, Dominique Alexander routinely represents families who believe cops have wrongfully killed their family member. Last one was the shootout in Deep Ellum. Oh, wow. Over there in Las Vegas. Or is that? No, I'm tripping, in Dallas. 2 or 3 people shot and cops killed one shooter. It's all on body cam and deemed justified. Okay. So that's to you, I guess, Robin, where you were bringing that up. Travis J. Moore, he murdered Austin without remorse. He is lucky the death penalty was not on the table. We thank God he only got 35 years. You're right, we're all American citizens, and when race becomes an issue, it needs to be addressed. Austin Metcalf have had white skin, but he was an American citizen as well. The parents also raised $600,000 for his legal defense, nor even not even 1/4 of that was used for his defense. What happened to the rest? It went to the cars and the house. That's
According to the receipts they found on, on when they looked into the records anyway, that they denied, and everybody was like, "No, it's a conspiracy theory. They're trying to make it look like these people are not about to use the money right." And
they're like, oh, they already had money before it happened.
okay.
So like,
Definitely. He came from a family with money. That's why he was stabbing people with the
defense all the time that they had to set up the defense? Why was it so
public defender? Why was it so public defender?
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the outcome would have been a lot different if they paid $600K
if
I gave my lawyer $600K, I promise you, I would be walking around free probably.
If I gave my lawyer $600K, I would walk out with $3 million on this case. What are we talking about? Like, that's insane. Travis J. Moore.
You could have bought 3 or 4 attorneys, like not 3 or 4.
You probably could. You could have had a whole team of attorneys.
You probably could have bought like a team of attorneys.
You could have had 12 public defenders.
That's probably that would have been.
I don't know if you could have that many because probably
I said public defenders now.
One good lawyer is probably going to take about 300,000.
I didn't say good lawyers. I said public 12 public defenders. You had one. You could have had 12.
I wasn't listening. You right.
You got to lock down the best one as soon as possible so they can get the ball rolling, and they did not. They didn't get the ball rolling. And what else to feel sorry for?
Real quick, I just want to let y'all know, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the share button, go ahead and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Push this thing out to the other algorithm because most people are not having these type of conversations. Most people are not having these unbiased, real, unfiltered conversations. Push this out. Let it be normal for us to have these type of conversations. And if you want to join the conversation, drop a comment.
And I got to move. I got to get my stuff ready for the work week. We are definitely going to be doing. I'll definitely be back. But real quick, y'all catch me. Want to talk about it? I do mine Saturdays. Dominate your day, people. Y'all go ahead and take care of it. I'm out.
Definitely.
I appreciate it.
All right, Des. All right, well, Des is out. I'm gonna stay on for a little bit. I still got to at least read through these comments.
Okay, I'm here.
Staying on for a little bit?
I'm gonna stay with you.
How much time you got left?
I got some time. I have some help with the kids right now, so yeah.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
You relaxing and working. Look at that. All right, so Travis J. Moore. The richer people have the resources for attorney fees, regardless of race. That is accurate. Ray Jensen. The idiot got tons of money for lawyers, but his family spent, I think is what he's trying to say, spent it on BS. Now they're bitching again about being out of money. They're wait, what? They're crying about being, oh, you know what? They did start another GoFundMe after the trial and it got pulled down. So I do remember that. Good day. No, it's not enough time for his murderer. Stephanie Wilson. You know what, Stephanie? Because you comment so much, every time you get on here, you getting a round of applause. Stephanie! All right. I taught kindergarten for years. Hey, shout out to the school teachers. I love y'all school teachers.
They don't get paid enough.
My mother was a school teacher for 25 years.
They don't get paid
enough. Y'all
have
a special place. Yeah. Y'all have a special place in my heart. Y'all can really deal with these kids because I'm tired of my kids. Shit, I'm finna send them to you, Stephanie. I taught kindergarten for 4 years. Number one lesson, first day of school. Our hands are for loving, not hurting others. Shout out to that, Stephanie. I can second that. Oh, and she's on again. Oh, she get another round of applause. Best believe. Best believe. Stephanie Wilson. I was attacked. I was attacked at the post office for not giving a homeless man money. You never know how you will react. That is true. And whenever you're in, and that's one thing I got to see working at the prison. A lot of people will come in and they'll be like, yeah, if somebody tries me, if we have a use of force, I'm going to do boom, 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 boom. And then you're active and there's an inmate, slips his cuffs, has a weapon, he's about to stab somebody. And then you look over and the same person who was saying everything they do is frozen. They're literally looking like this, shocked. They don't know what the hell's going on. And while you're doing everything, and you're like, dude, come on. And they still can't move because they don't know what the hell's going on. They're in shock. You never know what somebody's going to actually do in the situation. Okay,
Yeah,
I
for
can't
sure.
keep giving you applause, Stephanie. You have like 4 comments in a row. Stephanie Wilson again. Eddie was called a witness for Camelo. That is who dapped him up under the tent. Okay. Oh, and that was who dapped him up under the tent.
They're basically the person that invited him or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. The person who invited him.
But that
Stephanie
was,
Wilson
I guess
again. Or go ahead.
I guess there was different takes on that because some people, there was different conflicting testimony about he invited him, he didn't invite him, like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like I don't even think he definitively said that he did. Otherwise, that wouldn't be rumored.
right.
Um, Glenda Skinner. What gets me is that Anthony's have not apologized to the Metcalf family. The mother continues to claim racism instead of teaching her son accountability. You know what? That gets
Yes.
an applause.
Yeah,
Because,
for real, because that's exactly what we've been talking. That's what I've been ranting about is the whole
man,
accountability and a black culture mindset. It's just like I know I'm tired of it. You know what I'm saying?
man,
Like I know I'm tired of it and I'm even more tired of being boxed in, to think that if I'm in a situation and I have to react for real self-defense that because of how I look
yeah.
and all those things, and like I said, I know juries and judges are supposed to be impartial, but it's like,
Hey,
yes,
look,
but I mean, that's why I
the
started talking
stereotypes be
about the,
stereotyping.
yeah, for real. And that's why I was talking about the blind evidence review thing. I don't know if you saw that, where I had said I think that before you have a traditional trial, I think that they should start doing a blind evidence review to see how different the verdicts turn out if everyone's just
Yeah.
person A, person B. Did you see that I
That you
no.
posted, I probably did. See what I be doing. I
But
just
I'm
if
long-winded.
I see you post it, I like it. But if it's an essay,
Yeah, it's
I'm
always an
dyslexic.
essay
I'm
with
not
me.
reading all that shit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna like it, and if I see something real quick, I'm gonna comment. Like if I see something in the first paragraph that I relate to, I'm gonna comment real quick. But if that shit is too long, I'm not, I'm not
Yeah, I'm
reading
like
it. Put a
my
picture up
page
for me.
my page is set up for book readers basically because I don't
Yeah,
post a lot
yeah.
of videos, but I post a lot of like text to
Right,
read.
right, right. And if you guys do like to get into the details and have those deep conversations, y'all should definitely go check out Harley. Like for real, I am one that is going to let you talk amongst yourselves. Harley will give you her thoughts, and she will really make you think and wonder on whether or not you are knowing what the fuck you're talking about because she's coming with facts, receipts, and an essay to back it up. So if you do comment under Harley's post, be ready for it because she coming. Tammy Wohler. Michael Walker, if they did take it, do you think he would have not gotten another? I don't I don't remember what that is in relation to. Roger Puner? Perner? I don't know. No, it's not. He wasn't supposed to be there because he was suspended for carrying a knife in school. Then he provoked the situation. The boy said he didn't want to fight Carmelo. Friends all said under oath that he provoked the incident. What don't you understand? That is murder. He had he been white, you wouldn't care. That is sad.
What?
We're not gonna do that.
I'm
We're not
just,
gonna do
I'm
that,
look, but
Roger,
look, we are
because
gonna do that because what is he even talking about? Because no one even said that.
well, I'm saying we're not gonna do the whole if he was white. Firstly, look at the screen right now. Who here is not white? The two of us make one white person. We both half white. So now, with that being said, shut the fuck up. Secondly, we would still care. It just wouldn't be public as it is because the mainstream media wants to run with it. We can't blame the cultures for running with it as much as we can blame the mainstream media. We always want to blame the people instead of the system. And the system is not just the system that puts it against black people or minorities. They put it against all of us and make us against each other. So
Because I already talked
sure,
about but I mean, I already did talk about if it was flipped.
yeah,
Like if it
yeah.
was flipped and he was,
It would have never
you
had
know what I'm saying?
the mainstream media behind it though.
But I also, it may have, but people would be calling for like, oh, give them then everyone would be saying, give them the death penalty. And all the people that are saying 35 years is too much would be saying, something different. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
race.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't remember. You got to put his comment back up there because I'm, losing what he said.
He was basically getting to the point that Carmelo Anthony should have never been at the campus in the first place. He never should have been on school grounds because he had already been suspended. Now, the thing is, I don't know if he was suspended immediately before that and he was still on suspension, or if he was suspended before and then now he had a knife again. But I do know that he was suspended. And if that is the case, that's
But
accurate.
why
And I
is
agree
he,
with that.
but
But
why
I
is,
don't agree with.
But why is Roger talking about what don't you understand about that? Because we've literally, I don't know if he's replying to somebody in the comments, but we've
I
literally
think that's
been,
probably what
oh,
it is.
yeah,
Or
we
maybe he
literally been.
heard he probably came in at a part where we were talking about it in a way that he probably thought we were speaking on a different narrative and agreeing with
And
that narrative.
when you say that, I get so irritated because I'll say, I made a post about the whole death penalty. Like Austin should have kept his hands to himself, and he's paying the ultimate price for his mistake. And someone was like, shame on you. How can you say, he made a mistake and da 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 da. So I'm like, accountability, right? Like putting your hands on someone is wrong and it was a mistake. Now,
It was, yeah.
does it justify death? No.
No.
But it's like you still have to understand, like if my kids are in an argument and someone's threatening them or making them or posturing and insulting them or whatever, and they decide to put their hands on them, no, like you should never put your hands on anyone in any circumstance. Do I feel like, the show of force was excessive? Yes. But it's like people see my picture, they don't read everything that I say all the way through, or they just assume, or they see like a panel of minorities and then they hear part of it when they come in and they just automatically assume like we're in this tribe mentality.
It's
You know
the
what I mean?
emotion. It's the emotion. Everybody is so emotional nowadays. And I mean, I'd like to say that it hasn't always been like that, but it has. But people are extremely emotional nowadays because they get rage baited all day. That's all social media is. There's a whole bunch of different rage baits. So people get so emotional for all this crap, and it's not that deep. Let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about the topic. Let's not talk about whether you think that we're saying this because whatever color we are. Who cares, right? We're both mixed. I'm half white. I'm half black.
I
I'm
I I object to that label.
into being mixed. Okay,
No,
you're a white girl.
no, I'm not any of that. I'm just a human being.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
feel that. You see my
you
video.
know,
I'm not African American. I'm American. So
and
I
I
feel
don't
that.
like none of those. I don't like the black, the white, but I use them in talking points because that's the only way people can understand the point I'm making because this is what the things that
Right.
society has built up. But I personally do not like to call myself black, white, biracial because there's only one race to me, and that's the human race, right? We're
I
all
feel that.
human, and but you have to use certain language because of the fact,
Yeah.
everyone is putting everybody in a box and throwing labels on everything, and it's like you can't actually communicate your point
Yeah.
without doing that because everybody's so caught up on those labels.
That's true. So in response to diversified media and music, Eye for eye. What do you say? Eye for eye. Something. Leaves everybody blind. Eye for eye leaves everybody blind. Glenda Skinner said, "Eye for eye leaves the whole world safe."
How do
It
you
still
figure?
sounds blind. It still sounds blind. Is blind safe? Um, Paul Hobbs. He said it's not good to kill a kid, but that kid killed another kid. He's old enough to kill. He should be terminated with the extreme prejudice. You shouldn't have gotten 35 years. It would have been sentenced to death, but that's my opinion. Prove me wrong. Yeah. Okay. Hey, look, man. If that's your opinion, we can agree to disagree. I think a kid is a kid, and just because one kid died because of another kid doesn't mean that we should balance it out by killing another kid. I think that we should balance it out by reforming the community, reforming the kid, and reforming, the perspective on this situation instead of always thinking death. Like we're all still people. Why are we wanting more death? I don't want any more death. Sorry, guys. It's not my move. Nancy, hang the asshole. Okay.
See
I didn't even want to say that. Yeah, I didn't
those
even. I just read
comments.
it without
Yeah.
even looking at it. Josh Newman Bottom mentioned he got a poor attorney. I think you meant to say better mention he got a poor attorney, and he did. Um, his attorney was terrible as well. From what I understand, he had a private attorney. I thought he had a public defender, but maybe he had a private attorney and it was terrible. James Matthew Young, he could have got a life sentence, minimum 30 years. He gets 17 years to parole, and the jury had more Asians, which are neither black or white. And that's true. I want to say they had three Asians, or no, three or four Asians and three white people. And then the rest were different minorities.
Yeah, I've never got into
Um,
the whole jury argument because once again,
it's
I
stupid.
don't think like the color of the jury even matters.
Yeah.
A lot of the people are like, "Oh, there was no black people, people of your peers." Just because
The
the
defense
person of
chose
your
that.
peers doesn't have the same doesn't mean the same exact. But his attorney approved these people too. Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
not how a jury
They have to
doesn't work
select.
by. Yeah, a jury doesn't work by one side putting everyone there. So it's like his
Yeah.
attorney, his legal defense approved these people sitting there. So for everyone on the outside to be like, "Oh, there was no black people on the," so
Yeah.
like it's
Who cares?
what I mean. It's just
Who
like
cares?
that's like the most retarded point you
Why
could
why do
ever.
you feel like you need black people to win? That should be your biggest question is why do you need people to relate to you that bad for you to win if you're innocent? But I guess that is what it is.
But
People are always going to feel that way in the culture.
the other problem is though all of the people, all of the black jurors, from my understanding, said that they weren't able to be impartial and that they couldn't
Yeah,
send a
yeah.
black man to jail. So I mean,
Well, there's that too because as soon as you get
and
to
then
that
in
point,
order to be on a jury, you have to participate in like voting and other things. You
and
can't,
be unbiased in it, yeah,
you know what
you
I'm
can't
saying?
just
So
pick
it's
a side
like,
for no reason.
no, I'm saying like to be on jury duty, like you have to be able to get that letter that comes and says, "Do you want to be on jury duty?"
Oh, you're talking about you have to
Yeah,
vote. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what gets you added to the hat. Yeah, no, that's true.
yeah.
And most black people don't even fucking vote. And so whenever you're sitting here talking about, oh well, why couldn't you get enough black jury? Why don't you go vote? Why don't you go vote? Stephanie Wilson, these two were 17-year-olds with lots of testosterone flowing. That is true. And it's just stuck at a fight. I'm just gonna be real with you. Dave Beckman, had he been white, the racist black community would have been rioting. I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
we've already said that.
and
Yeah,
and I mean, you got to remember these are a few minutes old, so maybe they were saying it while we were saying it.
yeah. I know. No,
But
I was just agreeing. Like, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's what we
yeah,
said.
we definitely agree with that. And it's sad because black people are actually way more racist than white people nowadays. And people like to say, "Oh, black people can't be racist because it's not systemic." Racism doesn't mean systemic. There is still systemic racism if you want to be technical, but there's not day-to-day racism like that. Like my
People,
dad had crosses burned in his yard. They would poison fruit and throw it next to his fruit trees hoping that they would pick it up and eat it. That was racism. That was 40, 50 years ago. Now that a racial stereotype is not racism. It's just not. People want to make everything racist.
People misunderstand the fact of you can have individual, like you can have an individual. If you are a black person, an Asian person, or whatever, and you feel like because of who you are, you're superior than another race, by definition, that's racism. And
Yeah,
people
I agree.
and people don't, so it's like if you feel like you're better because of race or whatever, or you can be, you're racist. If you say
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
white, so I'm better than anyone else, or I'm black, so
That's
we're
well, that's
superior than
prejudice.
anyone.
That's prejudice more than
No.
racist. If you
If you
think that
look
you're
at the
better, that's more prejudice.
if you look at the definition of racism, pull it
I
up.
feel like racism is more of a hatred act. Like if you're not really showing me any like harm, I don't really consider that racist.
But if you put, but that's just a subjective view on what it's considered. But if you look at the definition,
It does
like,
mention prejudice. That is true in the definition.
yes, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like
yeah.
feeling like you are superior than another group with
Right.
prejudice towards that group, then
Yeah.
that makes you racist. Still
Right.
having
Right.
us, so it is prejudice to look at, to not like a person because of particular things, but being racist is having prejudice and saying like I'm better because I'm this. So anyone can fall into that category if that's
Yeah.
their, sentiment on
That's true.
things.
Landon Porter, just watch your videos. You say you're posting a different point of view regarding this case to test your followers. Does this mean that you legitimately believe Anthony was right to stab Metcalf? Now, London, I can understand how you might have thought that's what I was saying. That's never at any point been what I've said. The only point that I've ever made separately than Carmelo Anthony being wrong for stabbing Metcalf, because he was, and I will never say anything differently, he was wrong for stabbing him. Now, the only point that I made separately than that was Austin Metcalf should have never touched him, because I do want it to be on both sides of the aisle. You have to take back a lesson from each side. And at the same time, I wanted to go so hard on that point because I knew what it would seem like. It would seem like I was taking up for Carmelo Anthony, when in reality, I wasn't. And in reality, I don't really have a side on this. I believe that both people were wrong. Carmelo Anthony took it too far. Now, do I believe that he deserves to spend the rest of his life in prison? Because I've worked in the prison and I've seen how people act in the prison, after about 10, 15 years, they don't need to be locked up anymore, if we're being honest. They typically learn their lesson. So I don't agree
Some,
with
yeah.
life or death. Most, or I'd say about half, not even most or some, half will typically learn the lesson by that time. So to answer your question, Landon Porter, I have never, ever, 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 ever felt that it was okay for Anthony to stab Metcalf at any point, by any means necessary. That is unacceptable for you to invoke violence to that degree on somebody who just pushed you and wanted you to leave the area that they were in. That is not acceptable. Now, however, I do also, on the opposite side of that, I do also think that you should keep your hands to yourself, because you never know how far the next person will take it. And I'm not saying it at a level of, oh, if he was wrong per se to that degree for pushing him, for touching him. I'm saying you don't know what scenario you're putting yourself in by putting your hands on another person. You don't know how far they are going to take it. You don't. And in this case, they took it to the extreme. You don't know when that can happen. So that's more of what I mean. There's another from Landon Porter. Your opinions on these Asian boycotts. I don't understand how they think it's fair to punish all Asians. You know what? You want to know what my honest opinion on it is, Landon Porter? My honest opinion is, what about everybody who goes around and kills other black people every day? Black people kill other black people every day. You don't see them boycotting the barbecues. You don't see them boycotting the fucking thrift stores, or you don't see them
Or
boycotting
their weed man. I'm sorry.
the weed man. They don't boycott their weave girl. They don't boycott the weed man, the weave girl, the nail lady. They don't boycott none of that. They don't stop buying and dealing with these people. They don't boycott the hood. So if you ask me, that's all just some pick me crybaby bullshit,
Yeah.
and it's stupid. So that's my honest opinion on it, Landon. I'm pretty sure me and you feel pretty similar on that. Now that we caught up on all these comments, if you guys do have anything that you guys want to touch in, please do speak up. Right
There's
now,
a
I'm
lot of
going
comments
to.
where behind. That was a lot of comments
There was a lot of
behind that.
comments. Yeah, well, we got into it good, and we were talking about everything for a minute, and so it took a minute for us to catch up because this is a topic that a lot of people want to have their voice heard on. So a lot of people were speaking on this. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm first going to play a little bit of what happened at the courtroom, and then we're going to get into what Carmelo Anthony's mother said and what Austin Metcalf's parents said, and kind of just see what they say, review that, hear what they had to say, kind of take from there, determine how it's sounding at that aspect, because it's crazy the difference in opinion between each parent. Real quick before I get into that, hold up. You know my girl Stephanie over here commenting again. Stephanie Wilson, we need to be teaching all of our youth conflict resolution and de-escalation techniques. Also teaching no weapons at school. Emphasis on the no weapons at school. Emphasis on that. That is absurd that you bring a weapon to school. But definitely we need to be teaching them conflict resolution and de-escalation techniques. That is true, because there's so many times where they can literally change your life by just de-escalating. And some of these kids, they ruin their life in such a short period of time because they don't know how to de-escalate. They don't know how to have that conversation. All right. Let's see.
This entire time covering the Carmelo Anthony trial that we have all not been able to watch, which is killing us. No audio, no video allowed. And you're one of the few that actually was in there. So we have so many questions for you, but can you just tell us the overall feel of the trial? I mean, it had to be heavy. Like, this is 2 young lives that are ruined. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, actually, it was one of the most emotionally heavy trials that I've covered in my 3.5 years at Court TV, because you have emotions on two sides of the spectrum, right? You have this one family who's lost their child and loved one forever, and then you have this other family whose son and loved one's liberty was at stake for 4 days, as this trial went on. But I will tell you, as emotionally heavy as this trial was, it was really full throttle and pedal to the metal. The judge was wasting no time. It was prompt. I mean, we had Thursday was the beginning of, official testimony. Thursday, Friday, we had a Saturday session, and then a little bit of Monday before both sides rested. But it was 9 hours a day inside that courtroom, with one 40-minute lunch break and then one, maybe 2 10-minute breaks in the afternoon just to go to the bathroom and everything for people in the gallery. So the judge is really moving this thing along. And, the prosecution called 21 witnesses. The defense called 6 witnesses. A lot of those eyewitnesses were students, of course, who were under the tent at that track meet. And you were hearing all sorts of, different but very similar accounts of what happened that day, that all had the common denominator that Carmelo Anthony was the instigator and he was the aggressor. So you're hearing all this different stuff, and you're seeing body cam footage, and you're hearing 911 calls. Just a very grave situation, a grave trial, and again, emotionally heavy story to listen to while we were in that courtroom.
Yeah, I mean, extremely emotionally heavy. One life lost and one about to be lost, or, luckily.
So, I mean, as they were already saying, it's a very emotional trial. It's a very emotional situation that they're dealing with. You have 2 different sides of the aisle, and both people feel that they're justified in feeling how they feel. Whitney, are you still up here? Can't tell.
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. It's definitely very one of those situations where it's like, okay, you kind of have to understand both sides of them at the same time, because they are mothers, they are parents, they do see the best in their child. They do realize, I mean, you do have to realize, like, hey, this is their parent. Like, they don't want anything but the best for their kid, and they believe that their kid would always do the best. I mean, just think about it. Your mother, how do you, if somebody approaches you if somebody approaches you about your kid, one of your high schoolers, and they say that they did something heinous like this, what would your first response really be?
if I'm being like 100% real with myself, I know my kid though. You know what I'm saying? Like my kid and how they are. This is the same girl that was like, hey, everyone's doing these walkouts at school, and I have to take. I'm not worried about these walkouts. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you also have to, as a mother, you also have to say like, is my child really capable of something like this? And I don't have my only son isn't even 2 yet. So I don't have any boys. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
I've never, I don't have the experience with like how boys are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I guess I'm
They'll surprise
gonna,
you.
you know what I mean? So, but as far as like my girls, I just I would never, but as a parent, you never think that, you wouldn't expect something like this out of your kid.
So let me ask you this then: could you see yourself defending your son is still young, but imagine he was older, or even imagine it was for your daughter. Could you see yourself, even knowing that they were wrong, defending them on this level?
I wouldn't be defending my daughter had it been her in that
Yeah.
situation. I would say, I taught her better. She knows better. She's a black belt. She knows how to diffuse the situation. So this
Yeah.
is, so I would have no excuse for her, but also, her circumstances, like I said, she's a third-degree black belt. So she has plenty of training on how to like diffuse something. You know what I mean?
Hey,
She
remind me never to say anything that offends y'all near her.
But so yeah, even in her in school, like, so she's in high school, she's a third-degree black belt, but you don't hear her getting in fights.
Yeah.
She's had disagreements, and people have obviously, there's always that, especially in like the little female world, but my daughter has not gotten into one physical fight. You know what I'm saying? With even
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
having so it's like there's
Yeah. It
been
would be a
verbal
different
fights.
scenario.
There's been verbal
Yeah.
fights, and there's been situations, and but I just I just don't see, I just can't, you know what I mean? And if she did do
Yeah.
something like that, like I said, I wouldn't be able to sit by her because I would say she knew better and I taught her
See,
better.
and I'm glad you brought that up because, like you said, there's no history of it. There's no violence in the history. Carmelo Anthony, as we've already talked about, had already been suspended from school for bringing a knife. And now here's another thing. I want to know, what type of knife was it? Was it a pocket knife? Was it a kitchen knife? Because if it
I
was a
can show
pocket
you the
knife, it
knife.
was a 2.5 inch knife, just like the knife that he had that day. Not, I
Do you
don't
want
mean the
me?
knife
Oh,
that he
you
had
mean
that day.
the
I'm saying when
school
he
that
got
that I
suspended
had at
previously.
school?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah, I
when he
don't know.
got suspended previously, because we got suspended previously for it, he already knew he shouldn't have that size of knife, that type of knife, and that defeats a whole nother argument.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people would say, "Oh, well, the size of the knife," none of that shit matters. For being honest, none of
a
that shit
knife is a
matters.
knife.
Knife is a weapon is a weapon. You know,
Yeah,
it's just how it works.
and yeah, for real, I don't
You
know.
can't
I
have a
just
BB gun at school. It's illegal to have a BB gun at school, an airsoft gun. You can't have that shit. You just can't. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this. I want to see what this guy has to say because he was inside the trial the whole time. And then I'm gonna get into what the parents of each side had to say.
Not lost forever, but definitely freedom taken. I'm curious, as a defense lawyer, when I watch the
But you know what? Real quick, before we even finish up this section right here, I want to know from all the mothers and fathers in the chat: do you think that you'll be defending the situation with Carmelo Anthony if it was your kid, if it was your son or your daughter? Put yourself in their shoes. Do you think that you would be defending your kid to the level that Carmelo Anthony's parents are, or do you think that you would be holding them to the accountability that they need to be held to, and letting them know that they were wrong and standing up even against it and even speaking out for it that it was wrong? Which one do you think you would do? I genuinely want to know. What do you guys think you would do if you were in this situation? Because everybody wants to talk about it Monday night quarterback, and talk about what happened before and what they should have did. But what do you think you would do if you were there? Genuinely, if it was you, think about your kid.
these cases. I love to see how the judge is and how the feel is, are they, you can tell. I mean, they're ruling against the defense, they're ruling against the state. You can tell if there's a bias at all. I mean, did this judge, he, seemed very, militant on how fast he was moving, but how did he seem unbiased? Did he seem to treat both sides the same?
He absolutely did. Surprisingly enough, he was, he was laying down the law in that courtroom. There was a lot of rules that he had. Of course, the no cameras and no audio being recorded. You couldn't wear any sort of clothing that had any sort of signage leaning one way or the other. And, each the defense attorney and the prosecutor, if they were going over time in their opening statement or closing argument, he was making sure that, hey, you got 2 minutes left. You've been running, or, approach, or whatever he had to say to, wrangle the courtroom the way he wanted to. But I didn't sense any bias on his behalf at all, which was, interesting because, in a lot of cases we cover here at Court TV, you can kind of tell by the attitude of the judge sometimes which way they're kind of leaning. But this one was kind of down the middle to me, actually.
That's why I was curious, because we can see that when we're watching the trial. I mean, you can definitely tell. And, sometimes it's not real bias. Sometimes, one side kind of deserves it more than the other. But it seemed like this was a judge that was really, really fair. He did run a tight ship, though. I saw that he had time limits on everyone, which, personally, I'm like, hey, that's fine. As long as you're an equal opportunity a-hole is kind of how.
Okay. So we pretty much get the point from the judge. He seemed like he wasn't unbiased, or he seemed like he was unbiased. He seemed like he was just keeping it cut and straight. I don't think that there was any real bias from the judge, and honestly, he didn't have much of an opinion on it anyway because the jury decides. This is just a weird situation. With this whole situation going on, how it was in the court, how everything played out, how everybody wants to play it to the race, it just doesn't make any sense overall. Why this was even so big. This was a 9-hour case. 9 hours. Why was this so popular?
We know why. We know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Because anytime there's an opportunity to make it about a race or make it about, it's like it never fails. Like, nobody, like, if people are making AI pictures, like peeing on George Floyd's grave, it would be another riot. But then people are doing this because, to Austin, and it's like nobody sees anything wrong with that.
And it's the
You know what I'm
culture
saying?
now.
Like,
They did the same thing with Charlie Kirk. They did the same thing with pretty much everybody in the last 2 or 3 years.
That's why I say
they act
niggas
like
versus
President Trump.
blacks, the roar rages on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's the
just
moment. The moment President Trump got elected the first term, all of a sudden, every like professional manner got erased. Everybody just went haywire. Everybody lost civilization, and we realized, I don't know, we realized that people are really way more caveman-like than we thought. We thought everybody was so civilized. We thought everybody was so sophisticated. They're not. People are not sophisticated like they say.
Because also another thing is like this whole PSYOP thing, right? Because another thing is a lot of these really big influencers that have like tons of followers will get on there and make points. Like I saw a couple of them making comparisons to the case in case, saying, "Oh, he got 10," and these are like high profile influencers that are like making these comments, like, and you're just like, are we really running?
You know why? It makes a whole lot of money. I made a whole lot of money off my audience this week, by the way, guys. I appreciate you guys getting rage baited the fuck out of me. I didn't mean to rage bait y'all so hard, but y'all made me a lot of money this week. I appreciate y'all for real. And that's why people are doing it. That's not why I was doing it. I genuinely was doing it to see how my audience was, but that's why a majority of people are doing it.
But these people hold positions, though. These people hold positions. Their positions that they hold, they're really genuinely saying, like, this is the positions that they hold, right?
That's true too. That's true too. But I think a lot of times people don't really hold the positions. They're doing what they're speaking to their core audience. They're trying to point the narrative to match their audience that they're at. And that's exactly why I went against the grain. When everybody goes with their audience, I want to go against to see who's rocking with me and who's rocking with what I say. Because if you're just here for what I say and you're not rocking with my actual opinions and thoughts, you don't need to be here anyway. If we're just being honest, and a lot of people, they care too much about, oh, are people going to unfollow me? Is my audience going to disagree with me? Everybody's going to hate me for saying this. And you know, when I
No.
first made the first video about what if Carmelo Anthony never had the knife, that was one of the first things in my head was like, oh, my fucking audience is going to go crazy. I'm going to lose a shitload of followers. And I didn't, because if they're real, they'll stay. If they're real, they will stay. If they're
I don't
not,
have them. I
then they
don't
don't
have
need
that
to
many
be.
followers to be listening.
Yeah, I lost 95 followers. I gained 2,000 followers this week and lost 95. So I appreciate all you racists that left. Anyways, Stephanie Wilson, my son would have sat in a jail until trial. Actions have consequences. And I agree with whatever the jury came back with. All right in prison, all right while in prison, send books and money, but I would not defend his actions. I can second that. I can second that.
That's where I'm at
That's
with it.
how it's
I'm with
supposed to
her.
be. Yeah, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. You know, and that's what you see a lot of times in prison. You see a lot of mothers that just wish that their son made better decisions. They wish that they could have did something a little bit differently to create a narrative in their kid's life to
But
where
you know how you
they
pointed
want
out
to do those things.
you know how you pointed out the point that, like, black parents don't um buy lawyers or whatever for their kids.
Mhm.
But at the same time, when you get the black parent, and I don't want to say black parents because we're not going to put everybody in a box, but typically you see that, like, the reason why certain people get off is because they invest in the defense or whatever. But my point is, then you have those same parents enabling the behavior. Like, it's like, oh, it's my
Yeah,
son, so I'm going to have their back. Whatever they
yeah,
did, I'm having their back, and there's no
yeah.
accountability. And then you can realize, well, this is why this happened, because it's like you're not you're not, there's no accountability. It's like you're making
Right.
excuses
You have
because
no respect
they're
for
your
actual
son.
society. You have respect for whoever you
Your
represent, and that's it.
allegiance. And I know you're
Yeah,
supposed to ride for your kids, right? But right is right and wrong is wrong,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
And if you really stand on that, then you have to stand on that. And that's just what it is. I'm gonna get into.
we
I
probably
want to
should have
hear.
split this up into two sections.
That's okay. We're gonna
Well,
hear
for the
what
first time
Carmelo
since
Anthony's
his
mom has to
conviction,
say.
we are hearing from the parents of Carmelo Anthony. He is that Texas teenager who was sentenced this week to 35 years in prison for killing fellow high school athlete Austin Metcalf. Prosecutors argue Anthony intentionally killed Metcalf after being shoved by him and his teammates at a Dallas area school track meet. His lawyers plan to appeal, saying prosecutors wrongly excluded black people from the jury. CBS News spoke exclusively to Anthony's parents this morning.
Didn't intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself.
What do you say to his grieving family? It's unfortunate to where nobody wins. We've all been hurt by this. Everybody.
Well, Metcalf's father called the sentencing
Did you
bittersweet, saying he wouldn't wish it on anyone, but also says his son will never walk through his doors again.
What was he about to say?
Did you kind of hear there was no
terrifying.
apology? It was just like, oh, we're all suffering.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's one thing. Like they're never actually in. I mean, it's two sides of the coin. One, the parents, I get it. They're a part of the family that did wrong, but the parents didn't really do wrong. It would be more accepting if Carmelo Anthony put out an apology.
no, no, no. Well, what
And
I'm saying is that as parents, right? If I'm sitting there talking to another person that my kid killed their child, I'm just saying, like, from a character and moral standpoint, I'm gonna feel terrible that I birthed someone that ended up taking another
right,
life. And I'm gonna
but the
say,
actions
like,
are made.
I didn't raise my son to be this way. And I didn't, instill these values in them. And, it's a terrible thing that this happened. Not, oh, everyone's hurting. Our son's
Well,
going to jail
well,
for 35.
even before that, my son was just protecting himself. My son was just defending himself. You know, and I get it. You have to stick with a narrative because the appeal is still in play, and they're still trying to appeal it. But at the same time, when are you going to show some remorse? When are you going to show that other family or the other side of the aisle that, hey, look, I'm sorry for you. I really am sorry for you. My son that I miss right now because he's in prison. You won't be able to write him.
Or
You won't be able to
or
have a visit.
even or even, shape it like this. Like, this is not a behavior that I would even expect from my own son. So I know that maybe
Right.
he was under distress at the time. And I and apologize. So then that way when people are looking in, they can say, well, this family has character. This
Right.
family
Right.
has
And even
the ability to say, like, this is terrible and this is not under any circumstances how I would expect my son to act, not
right.
excuses. When you hear all these excuses coming from the parent, you say, well, no wonder. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
let it be
Like,
known. Let it be known that you do not condone the actions of your child, even though your child is somebody who you love, you care for, and you're always going to be there for them. That doesn't mean you have to take up for what crime they committed, especially when they're in the wrong. You just don't.
yeah.
Once again, though, I want to know you guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about what Carmelo Anthony's mother said? What do you think about what his father said? They, they both kind of said two different things. The mother went more on this is self defense. The father went more on, hey, we're all hurting. This is all sad for all of us. But I will say I do believe that the father is the one who played into the race bait first. So, mm, with that being said, though, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this about Austin Metcalf's parents and what they said, and then we'll probably wrap this up. Okay.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be raining what for like forever.
Raining? It's raining?
All right.
Yeah.
Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good evening. I'm Greg Willis, Collin County District Attorney. Today, Justice.
Look, and you see who this is right here? This is Hunter Metcalf. Look at him. You see that hurt in his eyes? You can't get over that. He's standing here. He's trying to be strong for his mother, for his father, even for the world, for his friends. But you
And
can
part
see
of
that hurt in
himself
his
isn't
eyes.
here. Like, like
Yeah,
being a twin is like, I'm not a twin, but I'm just saying I have friends that are twins. And basically, he lost a part of himself. Like,
yeah, yeah. And it's, I mean, even just losing a brother. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine losing my brother. And we have a 10-year age gap. And if my brother was to pass, if somebody was to take my brother from me, I couldn't imagine if I didn't want to paint the roads red. Like, honestly, that's just the truth. I couldn't imagine not feeling filled with anger, filled with hurt, filled with disdain, filled with betrayal, being angry at the world because why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to my brother? Why can he not grow old with me? Why can we not spend our lives together, raising our kids together, having parties, family reunions? I'll never be able to see him again. It's the craziest moment. He was with me since birth. That would feel insane to me.
Was served. A year ago, when this senseless murder unfolded, I said that it had struck a deep nerve in Collin County and far beyond. I asked our community to ignore all the noise and instead be level-headed and patient as the process worked. And today, the process delivered accountability. We are grateful to this jury, and we are grateful that the good citizens of Collin County had an opportunity to weigh in on this case. I'm proud of the exceptional work of Bill Werski and our team of prosecutors, DA investigators, and victim advocates, and all the good and outstanding men and women of the Collin County District Attorney's Office. We thank all the parents and their brave kids who did the right thing. Despite the trauma of witnessing the senseless murder at a school track meet, they cooperated fully and testified truthfully. Their courage was essential to securing justice in this case. I'm especially honored to be joined here today by Jeff and Megan Metcalf and their son, Hunter. Their strength and grace through this has been their strength and grace throughout this unimaginable journey has been inspiring. They won't be taking questions at this time, but their presence here speaks volumes about their commitment to seeking justice for Austin. I want to thank Judge Rhodes for presiding over this trial with fairness and efficiency. I want to thank Frisco PD for their investigation. I want to thank the Collin County Sheriff's Office led by Sheriff Skinner for providing the security for the court.
Well, I don't know why. I thought his parents were going to speak of this. I don't know why we're just hearing his lawyer. Well, I guess that's pretty much what they were going to say. They're glad that justice was served. I guess I got the wrong video of what I thought it was. I thought it was their parents speaking, but their lawyer. They're glad that justice was served. I mean, justice should have been served. What are your final thoughts on this, Whitney? What do you think? Do you think that he deserved the 35 years? Do you think that he should have got longer? Do you think that he should have got less? Do you think that it should have been
35
manslaughter?
years.
Or do you
I
think it's
think
murder?
35 years is a good place. Only because of things considered his age, other things like that. Manslaughter, no.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there was too many choices that he made leading up to that, which, you know, it
Yeah.
was just, yeah, I don't, it's definitely murder, and 35 years. Now, I think it should have been a solid 35 though, because at this point he can parole at 17. You know what I mean? So like if it was like a solid 35, but I mean he can possibly get parole in 17, but 17 is a significant amount of years. Like I said before,
Yeah.
it's your life. Starting your life off like after being in jail for 17 years, you're going to have disadvantages forever. Your life is
Yeah.
going to be harder. Even if you're free, you're still living in your consequence, even being free.
Yeah.
So
I feel that. And
I feel like this is something he will pay for life. Like, even though he's not going to be locked in a cell for life, honestly, that's more of a punishment, because getting 3 hots and a cots and being in walls, you don't have to pay bills, you don't have to do nothing. When you come out here and you're trying to make ends meet and pay bills and get a job and do things with your life, and you have all this following you, it's already hard when you don't even have anything like this following you.
yeah.
So his life is already going to be a living hell. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
he already has a life sentence, even if he doesn't spend his time in jail,
Yeah.
because really jail is, to me, like, I know you've worked at a prison, and I know it's not like rainbows and sunshine in there, but you also don't, like, you get food. You don't have to worry about when your next meal is coming. Like,
Yeah.
and you
No
know what I'm saying?
responsibility. No
Yeah,
responsibility.
so it's like it's
Yeah.
basically just a vacation. Sometimes as a mom, I'm like,
I
oh,
don't know
maybe
about
I
vacation.
no, but listen, sometimes as a mom, I'm like, I don't know, just put me in a cell for a couple of days. I need a break.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay. When
saying?
I see you at the crane unit and you talking about, hey boss, let me out, I'll be like, I don't know you. I don't know you.
No, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not
No,
saying it's a
I feel you.
vacation. I don't. It's not a
Yeah.
spa day. It's not comfortable. You don't have like a luxury couch you're laying on or whatever. Um, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
But you
uncomfortable.
don't have to. You forever have no responsibilities to deal with. You forever have a simple life. Now, is it gonna be complex in its own way because you have to deal with the own troubles of being in a penitentiary? Of course, of course. Real quick though, y'all, I want to know y'all's thoughts as well in the comments. Let me know, what do y'all think as far as, is it 35 years? Is it too much? Is it too little? Now that we're coming to the close of this video, we talked about everything. We talked about what what was approached. What do you guys think with everything being said? And with that being said, my thoughts are, I agree with you for the most part, Harley. I agree that 35 years is enough. It is enough, and I do agree that he needs to be held accountable. I agree that it was murder. It was not manslaughter. He knew what he was doing. He had ample opportunity, and he had plenty of opportunities, but he didn't have the maturity level to make the right decision.
And that's a
And
key
I think
point.
within
Yeah.
time, he will. I think in time he will be a justified member of society. But I don't think
Yeah,
I don't think
he
that it
could be.
should be like kind of to your point of the 35 or 17 all the way down to 17. I think 17 is enough, if I'm being honest, just based on my experience working at the
I mean,
prison.
he could be a productive member of society after that time, but
I think that that would break him out of any false reality that he thinks that he's in. He would realize, or maybe he doesn't, and maybe he needs to be there the full 35. And
but also
that's exactly
it.
why they have the system that way, to where it's 17 to 35. You can make parole, and then they come up for parole every 2 years. So this is like they test their behavior every 2 years. Hey,
But
how
he could
you
also come
know,
out being even worse because of his experience in
that's very true.
the the system, like how the system is set up and how the jails are set
But
up. He could come out
you know what will
being a.
happen? You know what will happen if it comes out worse? He'll get more time. So like I said, when they do parole hearings, I've sat there for the parole hearings. They don't do them in a court. They do them with the warden. The warden and two officers sit there. The escorting officer and the officer sitting security for the warden will sit there. And I've been in that room many a times. And I've heard how it goes. And typically, for the most part, people are not making parole. I'm just being real with you, especially with the behavior that they have in prison. Most of them, they don't make parole that easy. And if they do, they don't make it the first time. They don't make it the first 3 times. They might make it on the 5th time. So, that's why that system is in place, is to see and to test. Hey, are you have you
Rehabilitated,
been?
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
rehabilitated. Have you been rehabilitated? Damn, I did it
yeah.
again. Have you been rehabilitated? Have you not? And that's the point of that system. So I think that's just kind of like how Stephanie, my girl Stephanie, said. I think the jury got it right. Love your content, great live, got to run. I appreciate you, Stephanie, but I do think the jury got it right. I think that they did. I think that the hearing and the verdict was correct. I think that he deserves it every year that he got. Now, if he makes it out of 17 based off of good behavior, then kudos to him. Maybe he's been rehabilitated. But if not, he can get more time. Like, that's one thing. You can always get more time while you're in prison. If you're not showing the right behavior, correctional officers write cases every day. You get a certain amount of cases, or if you get a specific type of case, you're getting an extension on your sentence. You know how many times I went to court to testify based off a case that was written or use force that I've had with the inmate, or a cell phone, contraband, marijuana, K2, spice that I've collected, and it got them more time. It's happened so many times. So I think this is exactly what he needs. Is he needs to be there for at least 17 minimum. And if he's shown that he's rehabilitated, sure, get out. But if not, then keep him there forever. Sean M. Chandler said he took life. His life should be taken as also. And Sean, we touched on this already, but I don't think any child should get a death sentence. He was 17 at the time. Whitney, you got any final thoughts on this before we wrap it up?
Well, that's I've touched on a lot of the things. I'll probably have some thoughts later and then post it on my page.
Yeah. We should do this more often, though. We should get you on the live stream more often. Your perspective is a good asset to the show. It's definitely good to have somebody to contest what I'm saying a little bit. I feel like I get in an echo chamber sometimes with certain creators, because we all have the same opinions to an extent. So it's good to have a little bit of feedback from another side, another perspective, and a woman, because talking to all guys, we all have the same testosterone.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you could get on here again, definitely do, because I enjoyed having you on. To all the viewers, to all the listeners, check out Harley, odd as fuck Ducky.
I
This is
said
the oddest Ducky you've known in your entire life, and she don't even look like a duck. But at the same time, Y'all check her out.
My
If you
Facebook
guys,
is Harley Odd Ugly Ducky, and then my Instagram is just at Odd Ugly Ducky. And I'm dropping some music soon, another album. So
yeah, check her out. She makes some good music. It sounds really good. If you like to just have a good time, vibe, enjoy the tunes, check it out. It's good stuff. As well as if you want to really get into some critical thinking. I know a lot of times on my channel, I leave you guys to comment with each other. She will genuinely have that debate with you in the comments anytime, any place, anywhere. She will do it. Check her out. Landon Porter said, "Is it duck theme music?" I think it's more Texas. I'm gonna let you describe it. What's your
yeah,
music?
I mean, I have a lot of different music that's featured, but as far as my music, it would be more like soul R&B slash text a little Texas twang. I mean,
A little bit of
go
country in
listen to
there.
it. Yeah, go
And
listen
look,
to it.
let me tell y'all. Harley isn't gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you. She's a true country white girl. She is. She is. So if you like true country white girl music, it's gonna be on there too.
I'm not gonna lie, my music though, if you like music, I have all different music for every side, every type, from country
Yeah.
all the way to R&B to everything. So it just depends on what you're looking for. It depends on also because I feature different artists other than just my stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
there's
But y'all
something
will
for
see her.
everybody.
Y'all will see her around often. So, go give her a follow. She's good people. If y'all follow me, y'all should follow her. These are my people. But y'all will see her more on these live streams. Aside from that, it's been good having y'all. It's been good having an unfiltered conversation with y'all. I appreciate everybody joining the conversation in the comments, keeping this thing going, keeping this thing rolling. I appreciate all the support that I've been getting lately. 34,000 followers. Y'all, I started in January of this year. This is insane. So be able to have this type of support, this type of following this quick, I appreciate all of y'all. I love all of y'all. And you know what? Until next time, keep it unfiltered, keep it logical.
I don't need your liberal bullshit in my brain. I want peace, a paycheck, and a little bit of rain. Yeah, America's beautiful. Leave me alone. Let me work, let me live, let me make it home. Leave me alone. Let me live, let me alone. This place in peace. America's a big place, plenty room to breathe. Clocking in early, I just wanna eat. Got kids at the table, bills on repeat. I don't need a sermon, I need groceries. News yelling more, Twitter yelling sent. Everybody talking, nobody clocking in. I ain't trying to say the world with a sign and a tweet. I'm trying to keep lights on, gas in the Jeep. Don't need your labels, don't need your fight. I love this country, I love my life. Keep it think pieces out my face tonight. I'm busy building, I'm busy right. America's beautiful, now stay the fuck out my way. I just wanna feed my kids, see a brighter day. I don't need your liberal bullshit in my brain. I want peace, a paycheck, and a little bit of rain. Yeah, America's beautiful, leave me alone. Let me work, let me live, let me make it home. They argue in circles, I'm stuck in a line. Prices go up, but the talk stay high. Minded every problem solved with a hashtag parade. Still can't tell me why I rent double this way. I ain't scared of opinions, I'm tired of noise. I ain't your enemy, I'm employed. I don't wanna clap, chant, kneel, or comply. I wanna grill on Sunday and sleep at night. I mind my business, I pay my dues. I teach teach my kids how to pick and choose. Freedom means I don't gotta agree with you. Respect means you don't gotta preach me too. America's beautiful, now stay the fuck out my way. I don't wanna feed my kids, see a brighter day. I don't need your liberal bullshit in my brain. I want peace, a paycheck, and a little bit of rain. Yeah, America's beautiful, leave me alone. Let me work, let me live, let me make it home. I don't need a savior, I need a shot at a fair damn chance, that's all I got. Keep the lectures, keep the shame, I keep the hammer, I keep the flame. Built by hands, not a comment section. Life ain't solved by online correction. America's beautiful, now stay the fuck out my way. I don't wanna feed my kids, see a brighter day. I don't need your liberal bullshit in my brain. I want peace, a paycheck, and a little bit of rain. Yeah, America's beautiful, leave me alone. Let me work, let me live, let me make it home. Leave me alone, let me live, let me alone. This place in peace.
Ain't no capping in my logic, this that real tall vibe. From the south where the grind don't die, we survive.
America's a big
My shawl, money right. Truth be the topic. Welcome to the game. This unfiltered logic. Ain't no sugarcoated here, just truth in the topic. Feedback, not feelings, that's unfiltered logic. Pain made the hustle made profit. I learned from the struggle, now I profit off logic.
Keep it tank pieces out my face tonight. I'm busy building, I'm busy right. America's beautiful, now stay the fuck out.